All right. Okay, cool. Going through live now. All right, give me a second so I could retweet, so I could tweet this out. Hopefully, YouTube notification is hidden. All right. All right. Here we go. We'll do our thing. All right, sent this off. Yeah. If you don't mind, in the chat, tweet the link out or hit up my Twitter and retweet that so you get us going. I know this is an unplanned live stream. Yeah, normally I will have my podcast once again. I apologize for not having 60 Frames No Lag podcast this past Monday. Work's been really crazy, and been trying to just overwhelmed with work. Trying to catch up on stuff before I go on my holiday break. Going back to New York to visit my dad, spend Christmas with him and stuff. Appreciate everybody rocking out in the chat, showing up right now. I know it's short-lived. It's Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Most people are home, but you're probably gaming, watching The Mandalorian or some crazy stuff. But I'll be remiss if I go a week not talking about the topics we're about to talk about. And I do this obviously because I enjoy it. It's a great hobby. I really appreciate you guys rocking out, supporting the channel, coming in live and all that stuff. But I do this so we get perspective, right? Because you see a lot of podcasts. You see some podcasts and some people talking, and there's always like an angle that gears towards either being a PlayStation fan or being an Xbox fan or being a CD Projekt Red or developer lover, or fan or a developer hater. It's always geared towards some type of emotional tie to it, whether you love it or hate it. And like me, I'm a PlayStation fan and stuff like that. But when it's time to talk the truth about something, just preach the information. Just preach how it is. It doesn't matter if you love the brand or hate it. It is what it is. My man Darren says, where in Germany were you stationed? Ramstein, 96 to 2000, 2000. I was stationed in Panzerkaserne in Bublingen. Garrison Panzerkaserne. So it's about 2 hours away from Ramstein. 2 hours away southwest, if I remember correctly. It's about 20 minutes away from Stuttgart. 10 minutes away from Stuttgart Airport. That's where I was at, right? Oh shit, you're in a Discord? Let me see, hold on. Let me get my man. Alright. Let me rock out. Let me get my man Craig Harris. Hey yo, what up, Craig? Oh, Craig's on mute though. So eventually he'll fix his mic. There we go. Let me put this back because I don't actually use this mic. So whenever Craig actually unmutes himself, we'll get to hear him. But good looking out, Craig. All right. Let me see something. Okay.
Hey, yo.
There you go. What up? What's up, Craig?
Hey, what's happening?
Oh, snap. You off or something?
Yeah, Saturday, I think.
Okay. You think Saturday, I think?
Yeah, Saturdays, my days, they just run together.
Okay.
So there's college football's on. Like, I think it's a Saturday. So.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true. How you been, brother?
So, I can't complain. How you and your family doing?
No, they're doing good. My wife's in North Carolina visiting my daughter and her brothers and sisters.
Okay, is that what she told you she was going?
Yeah, well, I know she's going because I'm the one that paid for the ticket. Now, what she did when she landed from there, I don't know. At that point, you know what I'm saying? You know where she landed at that point. You know, I took her as far as the airport near my house. Oh shit! So let me shout out the chat. We got Sherwin Jerome. He was hype. He was right here from the get go. Bob Pound, what's up? The Hawk. Lionel B was good. Big Stout, what's up? D Dog Beast was good. Jordan, what's up? Mario Heat. Oh, this dude. He said Portal Punk 27. What we got? We got Tekken God. What's up? LD. Sam Ash. Deron Edwards. Goodquestion.com. Oh, snap. The Ruhan was good, brother. Thank you for rocking. Z wear assless chaps when streaming. What? Yo, these dudes, man. Man, shout out to Z, man. I wish him a speedy recovery. Of course, Craig the Tech Guy. I'm in the Discord, bro.
I'm trying to reach Optimus Code.
Oh, see, yeah, he might be around. Savage Jr. Juju with the Dominican flag as Xavi. Good times in Stuttgart. Oh shit, what you know about Stuttgart, Juju? Juju on that beat. 2-3. Oh man, Sinkao, Mark Lu Lankao. Oh, you're killing me with that name. Oh snap. What else we got here? Going down the list. Dark Side of Light 84 was good. All right. Okay, who's more hyped for this podcast than Halo Infinite? Shout out to Jerry. Oh snap! Oh, what's up, man? So it's a quick impromptu live stream. So I guess I got my man Craig Harris. Thank you for rocking out and stuff like that. Appreciate it. If you can hit the like button, retweet this out. But I gotta give my thoughts behind Cyberpunk. All right, so let me start this out. And then I'll have you, Craig, chip in real quick.
Oh yeah, it'll be real quick. It'll be 10 seconds for me about that. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so we'll start this out. So as everybody knows, Cyberpunk is now getting this huge backlash over the last couple of days. Cyberpunk got delisted off the PlayStation Store. Sony delisted them. A lot of consumer feedback, especially from the PlayStation side, of how poorly this game was released and launched and stuff like that. All right. So let's go down just a couple of pointers for this. All right. Number one, it's not simply on the merit that the game is buggy and it's in a bad state, right? Because we had games like that before. We had games that were buggy, maybe not to this degree, but pretty close, right? And not just this gen, but even last gen. I mean, talk about Fallout 3 on the PlayStation 3. It was bad. Fallout 3 on the PlayStation 3. That thing was a mess. It was an absolute mess. Yeah, it was bad. Right? It was really bad on that one, right? But that game didn't get delisted. Okay, so what makes Cyberpunk so unique in this case? Some people pointed out to No Man's Sky. Wasn't so much a buggy mess, but it was more of it wasn't the game that it was advertised because it didn't have the full rich environment that people thought it was. It was a very bare bones game, right? But that didn't get delisted. So what makes Cyberpunk so different? And I'm going to tell you what made it so different. It was the purposeful deceit behind the game. To put this in point, when the game launched, or before the game launched, there was only one platform that had review copies of this game, and that was the PC platform. So prior to the game launching, it had at the time 44 reviews when I saw it with a 91 meta. Okay, while the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One version said to be determined. So there was no PS4 Xbox One review because CD Projekt Red did not provide review copies of the console version of the game, right? So there was no way for people to review the game who normally, are in gaming websites and they do reviews. There was no way for them to actually play the game, in enough time to actually push out a review and discuss the console versions. The only versions that was out there was the PC, and as you can see from the PC version, currently sitting, I think, at 87, as you see on the screen, it's a well-built game for PC. Because of that version only being the version that's being reviewed, and at the time it was 91 meta with no PS4 or Xbox One version, people assume that console might be a similar experience. Maybe not up to the level as PC, but usually you don't have the stark difference that you see on my screen right now, where PC is 87, but the console versions are 55. That's a rare case, and I can't even think of the last game where you had such disparity between the PC and the console version of the title. So in absence of being able to see the console versions, people assumed that the PC version was a good representative, or at least a similar representative of what you'll be playing on console. So the game launches, and people are playing it on console, and it's becoming an absolute disaster. And the more people that play it, the more it just gets worse and worse. And it's just becoming a terrible experience for millions of gamers who playing this on consoles, right? Because the only copies that were reviewed were the ones people had to purchase. They had to wait until they actually were able to buy it, whether it's the digital version or a physical copy. So it took about a week for the final reviews of the PS4 and Xbox versions to finally come out, because the reviewers needed time to play it. So about a week later and so, now you're seeing the scores. And it's 55. And they're telling everybody the issues. And keep in mind, they're playing it with like the which at the time was the latest update and patches. And it's still abysmal. And the game is just an abysmal experience. All right? Come to find out, from a circle of friends, Sony and even Microsoft, everybody, all right, so we got the results, right? The game is a disaster. And of course, you got the corporate fanboys, particular the CD Projekt Red fanboys and lovers and whatever. They're going out there as a defense force trying to defend CD Projekt Red, whether because they're fans of CD Projekt Red or because they're Microsoft fanboys, and because Microsoft has the marketing rights, they're gonna do their part to protect Microsoft, right? So they go out there and they try to find a loophole to protect CD Projekt Red, which is well, Sony certifies the games, so it's their fault too, which doesn't make sense. But come to light, Sony and even Microsoft, when it comes to certification, they have, it's a different name, but something in terms of a privilege list. And what this privilege list is certain big developers, they have waiver certification. Literally, they have the authority, or not the authority, but being on this list, they get privileged access for Sony not to certify their games, and they could just put it directly on the network, right? And the reason why they have this access is because they are trusted to upkeep the, how would you say, the standard of Sony and Microsoft certification process. These companies have the trust that they fully understand what is expected, and because they trusted to uphold those certification process, they get a waiver, meaning they get to publish updates, they get to publish their games, they get to publish anything directly to the network without Sony having to give them the certification approval. Only a select group of developers have that certification privilege because Sony trusts them to do the right thing. So it's kind of like, let's say if I'm Sony, right? And Craig, you're a developer and you understand, or let's say I'm a first party developer, right? We got Porter Rock platform, right? And instead of me constantly reviewing the games you put on my platform and the updates, I put you on the list as a trusted game developer and publisher. And I trust you to be like, hey, Craig, do you understand the things that are required to be certified on the Porter Rock box? And you'll be like, yeah, I get it. I understand. Do you understand the standards that we uphold to? Yeah, I get it. Cool. Just make sure you adhere to those standards and you could do whatever you want on my network. And the reason why they do that is because there's so many developers, from big AAA developers to all that, whatchamacallit. It takes time, right? And time is money. All right? So that way I could have to help you as a big business get your stuff onto my network as fast as possible. I'm trusting you to do the right thing. So I'm not going to certify you because I trust in your capability to self-check and self-quality check your work, knowing the standards I have on the Porter Rock box. So you're on my privilege list.
So they've lost the preferred, I think it's like a preferred status, developer status.
Yeah.
They no longer have that.
They lost that. So CD Projekt Red lost that status. And the reason why they lost it is because they violated. They did not adhere to what Sony would have done. If Sony would have certified this game and not have them on the preferred status, this game would not have launched day one. So you have that. So you have two directions. Shout out to Big Stat, $2 super chat. Yo, PR, check this out. I see that the class action lawsuit, there's a firm looking into it. I'll talk about that. No doubt, man. Shout out to Big Stout. Thank you for the super chat. Definitely going to talk about that, right? So you got CD Projekt Red taking advantage of their privilege access, not adhering to the standards Sony set, and you got CD Projekt Red purposely being deceitful to the consumer by actually not providing review copies of the version they know is broken.
What up?
Who's this? Shit! What's going on, brother? Damn, everybody have here.
What's going on?
Shit, all we need is J-Dub, and we got the crew up together.
Yeah, I'm just here to just tag along, man. Do what you do, Rock. Do what you do.
Appreciate it, man. And shit, we just need J-Dub. If he could stop trolling Xbox for 1 second. If he could just get his foot off their necks for about 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Right? But what's going on is, so you got CD Projekt Red. They took advantage of a privileged access they had with Sony, right? And then you had them on the other end purposely hiding from the consumer a version they knew was bad. They only showed the PC version, right? So those two things combined, right, did not, one, allow, in this case, Sony, to ensure that a quality product, or at least, you know, something that they have to the minimum standard, is on their network, so it makes Sony look bad. And then on the flip end, people are paying $60 for a game they really didn't know. They assumed it would be a similar experience to the PC version because that's all they had to go on. Right? And in the first day, what they do? They bragged about the success of the game. Let's all remind. Let's all use the calendar. The first day, it wasn't about we're sorry, we released a bad product, we promised to do better. No. The first day, within 24 hours, we already made our money back.
Yep.
That was the first thing CD Projekt Red did. They didn't come out and say, hey, ladies and gentlemen, we got to tell you something. The PS4 version, Xbox version has issues, but we are hard at work. We're going to do this. We are going to do the best we can to get the game up to the level you expect from us as fast as possible. No. The first thing they bragged about was the success of the game and how they already made their money back day one. Right? And
that was for the shareholders.
That's right.
They did that for the shareholders.
For the shareholders. And then the next thing, Steam Cell, the #1 highest selling PC game of all time. All time.
For the shareholders. For the
all
shareholders.
time.
They knew what was about to happen.
They knew what was about to happen. Beating out World of Warcraft. #1. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Despite, while they're doing this, they knew the console version was trash. Yet they still had the nerve to brag about this. Now, over time, the gamers caught on. We're seeing the review copies from people who had to buy the game to actually review it. And it is nowhere near to code like the PC. It is a disaster, right? It is just absolutely abysmal. And it just keeps getting worse because I guess today they found out if your save goes over 8 megabytes, it's not going to work anymore. It's just getting worse and worse by the minute. And the people who are catching the most flack, and I will say Sony is catching the most flack, because the reality is, on console, is probably the version that people are playing it the most. Again, it's not about the power. It's not about, marketing or whatever. PlayStation has the lion's shares of the market, so chances are majority of the console gamers are playing this on the base PS4 or the PS4 Pro. Not the PS5, because there's not enough out there. Right? And even if they are playing on PS5, the PS5 is just really playing the PS4 Pro version. It's not like it's built on the PS5, right? To take advantage of truly PS5.
Yeah.
So the majority of the people are playing this on PS4. So that's the fan base that are seeing the most issues. Unlike Xbox fanboys, PlayStation Nation in reality don't give a shit about PlayStation's view. When something is truly messed up on PlayStation, they will thrash PlayStation. We've seen this multiple times. We've seen it with The Last of Us. We've seen it with cross save. Right?
Yep.
We've seen it with the security. We've seen this with two-factor authentication. We've seen this when Sony removed Rumble. Remember that on PS3? When Sony really screws up, my God, that company will get thrashed. PlayStation Nation will thrash the shit out of PlayStation real fast. When it's a little bullshit, whatever. Like backwards compatibility, whatever. There's some things PlayStation Nation really lets them get away with because it's really not a big deal in their eyes. They're like, whatever. But when it's something that deals with gaming, oh, hell no. They will get dismantled, and they will not stop until Sony does something. They didn't stop until Sony... Wait. They didn't stop until Sony brought back Rumble. They didn't stop until Sony created trophies. When Xbox had achievements, and there was no system like that on PlayStation, PlayStation in the boards was ripping Sony, saying, why are we paying $60 and not getting the same content as Xbox? They were getting lit up. So Sony had to create trophies, right? When Sony, or didn't do cross-save with Fortnite and all that, they got lit the hell up. So Sony had to give in and do cross-play across all these games, right? And now with Cyberpunk, they were getting thrashed with the refunds. And even Sony clapped back. They're like, no, you can't get a refund. Hell nah. We're not trying to hear that. You sold us a broken game. Yeah, they sold us a broken game. They sold us a broken game.
What you're saying is not 100% accurate.
It is accurate. I'm gonna tell you. Listen.
CD Projekt Red actually put their statement out before checking with Sony about the refund.
No, but listen. But here's the
Sony got pushed into doing the refund, so Sony retaliated.
No, but I don't care. Listen, but the point is, it's CD Projekt Red's game, but what platform are they buying it on?
That's true.
But, and now listen.
What happened? No, what happened was that CD Projekt Red put their statement out about you all can get a refund first before they said anything to Sony. So Sony got pushed into. No.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about a gamer in a messenger directly to Sony trying to refund it, and Sony told them no. And that was a tweet I showed. I said this is bullshit. Because number one, if you want to put, and I'll say this, I'm optimist, I want you to chime in. But here's my view. I understand business-wise and actually, and I'm not a developer, right? In any way, and I never claim to be. But I completely understand why there's a privilege list. Whatever they want to call it. I completely get it. Number one, there's developers who are very good. There's companies who believe in quality. So I can understand a system where you have faith in third party to abide by your certification process, but for the sake of brevity, for the sake of getting games on time or the day you want to launch it, for the sake of getting updates on the network as fast as possible, I understand why Sony has a privilege list. But Sony has to understand it is still their network. And if any company doesn't buy that privilege list, it is still your responsibility. It's your fault. You gotta own it. You gotta own it. And the reason why I say that is, the way I see this is I look at it as me being a Marine, right? You know, I'm a senior person. I have high rank. I cannot do the work myself. I have to give my orders, and I have to trust the low-level leadership, the sergeants, the corporals, the staff sergeants, to do the job. But if they fail to do the task, I can't go to the commanding officer and say, oh, but the sergeant failed to do it. No, I have to eat it. And when that commanding officer tell me, why did you fail the task? My answer is, I failed to supervise, and I didn't make sure the job didn't get done. You understand what I'm saying? I have to own it. I have to own their mistake. But make no mistake, I will own up to it. But behind the scenes, I'm going to thrash these sergeants behind the scenes. So Sony up front should have said, you know what? We own this. Yes, we're going to give you the refund. It's not our policy, but we clearly see the fuck up that's going on. We're going to give you the refund. But behind the scenes, CD Projekt Red, your ass is off the list. Because this is some bullshit. While you put us through.
No, but that's not completely what happened. There's a guy in your
I'm not saying that's not what happened, but that's what should have happened from the very start. From the very beginning, Sony should have got ahead of the curve and realized, God damn it, CD Projekt Red, what the fuck did you do? And the moment the first game it says, hey, I want a refund because this shit sucks, they should have said right from the get-go, you know what? You're right. Here's a refund. We're not even going to challenge it. We see what happened. They should have done that from the start. From the very beginning.
Craig, before you jump in, hold on, Craig. Let me, because it seems like you're implying something, and I want to just make sure I understand what you're saying. Are you saying that the only reason Sony is doing the refunds is because CD Projekt Red forced them into it?
No.
Me?
Or Porter?
What happened was that they just talked about this. They shut
Well, did you say yes or no? I don't.
Who are you talking to? To me? Who's the question for?
To Craig.
Oh, to Craig.
My understanding of it is, and I talked to a civil attorney today when I just ran into a friend of mine at Best Buy. And he was telling me what they understand what happened was that CD Projekt Red said, yeah, you can go get a refund. So people thought they could get it through CD Projekt Red. They said, no, you got to go talk to whoever you got it at. I don't know if you got it on Steam, wherever the game was, Steam for PC, wherever you got it. And Sony does not do their refunds like that. So that's
already wrong, Craig. Like that is not what happened.
Okay, well, so this is what he was saying to me, and he said Sony retaliated and delisted their game. He said there's more to it.
That is not what happened.
That's not what happened.
There's more to it than that, but at
the reason why they delisted the game,
it is what it is.
The reason why they got delisted is not because of that tweet saying you get a refund. It's because of the quality of the game.
Exactly,
that's it. That's all it is.
And ultimately, you're right about them having the preferred status, and they did lose that. So for the next time CD Projekt Red goes to put a game on PlayStation,
not just a game, updates, anything,
I know.
Anything.
Well, that's my point.
Yeah.
The next time they go to put something there, Sony will then send their certifiers there to test it to certify. They lost the benefit of the doubt that preferred status was like, y'all want to make money, we want to make money, you make money when we make money, but you lost that.
Yeah, so Craig, right off top, that letter that from CD Projekt Red, it was very clear. It said, go to Sony, go to Microsoft, and if they don't help you, come to us. So it was never the case where people went to CD Projekt Red and they turned them away and said, okay, well, no, you got to go to Sony or Microsoft. That didn't happen. It's right in the letter. You can read it.
Oh, no, you're right about the letter, but people don't read. They're like, oh, they said we can get a refund. We're going to them first. Now, you're right. You are 100% right. You have to go to wherever, like I said, wherever you got your game, whether it was Steam, whether it was wherever, it's not acting right, get a refund. Now, Sony's refund policy then came under fire. about how they just do refunds, overall how they do refunds, so that just got caught up in it. Now, Sony did not like it. It's just what I understand. They did not like getting put on the spot like that. So they retaliated and said, not only we'll give you your money back, but this dog shit's coming off our platform.
Yeah, so that I can guarantee you that is not what happened at all.
So all right, that's fair enough. So when but they're delisted. So the game may come up tomorrow. It may pop up tomorrow. It may pop up in 6 months, or it may never come back. We don't know. The fact is it's delisted. So in order for them, my understanding, to get the game back, and this is any CD Projekt Red game at this point, they're going to have to send Sony's, whoever, their testers there, Sony's testers.
They just send the code into Sony. They don't actually.
Oh, that's fine. And then they test it. And if it doesn't hit, and Sony may tell them, we want this game to be 1080p, 30 frames per second on our base console.
No, I don't think they do that. Right? No, they don't do that. They don't do that. No.
All right, but this say,
that's not what the certification process.
You're right, Craig. They do have standards, but it's not that kind of stuff at all. The certification process, and the name of the term is approved developer status, ADS.
There you go, approved developer status. Okay.
Which they lost, which my understanding is they don't have anymore. Is that true? Did they lose that?
Yep. So with the certification, it's this long checklist of things that every game has to pass. Every single game has to pass it in order to be for sale on the platform. And one of the things that people misunderstand is this is Sony's platform and they can do whatever they want. They can deny people to sell on it, all this stuff. That's not true. There's a lot of legal precedents and there were lawsuits and all of this stuff. So anybody can sell a game on PlayStation as long as they game past the certification. Mm-hmm. Sony does not have the power legally to withhold, for monopoly status and a bunch of other stuff as well. And they just don't have the legal ability to just not allow a game on their system. There has to be reasons why. Certification says this game has passed all of our requirements for sale in our app store. It doesn't mean the game has been QA'd. It doesn't mean the game has features or resolutions or none of that stuff. The certification process is mainly, there's actually quite a few things, but the main thing that they want to do is confirm that the game does not brick the system, does not cause system crashes, and that the game adheres to all the trademarking. You cannot accidentally put an Xbox logo where it should have been PlayStation. When we went through our certification, it was things like every button press had to make a sound. Period. You could not press a button and it'd be silent. Going through the menus, everything had to have a sound. It's stuff like that. It's these.
Well, yeah, I understand that.
Hold on, Craig. Hold on. So what happens is Sony will test. They will go down their checklist and they will go through all of these things. Let's say it's 500 things. Who knows? Of these 500 things, they may find 300 things wrong. And here's where the problem comes in. Sony found things wrong with Cyberpunk on PlayStation. They found them. They told CD Projekt Red, these 300 things are wrong. You must fix them. Right. The approved developer status, what that means is CD Projekt Red was like, okay, we got you. We see your list of 300. Instead of holding up the game, why don't you give us a waiver? What that waiver means, and let me be very clear about this, that waiver means there will be a day one patch to fix all of these issues. Not a week from now, not 3 days from now, day fucking one, there will be a patch to fix these 300 items. However many items are found during the certification process, the waiver means let it slide, don't block the certification. You can trust me to have a day one patch to fix those things. That's
which they didn't do.
Yes, so it doesn't matter if they fix them 2 months from now. Right now, the game that exists it don't exist no more. But
it's an Xbox exclusive.
Yeah, right, man. It was not certified. There was a game on the store that did not pass certification. And that is why they removed it.
And they did not honor the day one patch.
Exactly. They had a day one patch.
Yeah, that's what I was told. Well, yeah, they did not. They didn't do what they were supposed to do.
They had a day one patch, but it didn't fix those checklist of items.
Okay.
Exactly. So the thing was, okay, well, we knew about those items, and yeah, we kind of led people to believe that we would have it fixed, but we kind of really didn't. Right. And so that is the issue, and that is why they lost the status, and that is why the game is delisted, because Sony is not going to sell a game that hasn't passed certification.
Right. I mean, that's my point, is that the game is delisted, and that it may come back tonight, for all I know. You may wake up tomorrow and it be fixed, and it be right back up there for you to purchase. But with them losing the status that you were just talking about, Code, Sony now has to do things they're going to do things first. And, you know, they're not going to just let CD Projekt Red put anything on there, even if it's, I don't know, a girl dancing under the moonlight. It can't come to their console at this point. So, my understanding,
they do that with everybody. Like,
well, really, they're not going to do any. They're not going to do anything extra. They just CD Projekt no longer has the ability to say, let's waive and we'll patch it later. No.
Exactly.
You patch it, come back after you. Yeah. So in other words, CD Projekt Red doesn't have credit. They lost their credit. You got to bring cash.
No, I understand that. Yeah.
That's all it is.
My understanding is from him this afternoon was that they are looking at a legitimate investigation, and he just told me this. I mean, there was nothing out.
Now I'm going to tell you this. Now I'm going to say this. So I'm going to say this.
Let me say this. He just simply said that if they give that company that may investigate them subpoena power, it could take the whole thing down. But if it's just a base investigation, they're going to literally just say, you can volunteer to come and talk to us. Don't know if they're being investigated by somebody who actually has subpoena power. Because if that happens, then you're looking at a literal international issue.
So I'm going to say this.
Possibly. Let me make that clear.
So I'm going to say this. So I'm going to say this. So I think when it comes to that, because shout out to Big Stout. Let me do the super chat. Shout out to Holamoko. He said, but would Sony delist it if people weren't complaining? Well, that's the point of delisting, because, well, I think so. Because now that we learned from Optimus, it sounds like they would, because if you didn't meet the mark, you know, but maybe Sony would have hit it if the issues weren't as prevalent. Because the question you're asking is, but would Sony delist if people weren't complaining? Well, if people aren't complaining, that means there's not a lot of issues. The reason why people are complaining, because the game's broken. That's why people are complaining. So it's a response. Now,
let me respond to that directly.
Yeah.
Because the implication is, if Sony hadn't heard complaints, would they have let it slide? The answer to that is no. They on their own would have still found out after the day one patch that this game is not performing, and they certainly would have went to CD Projekt Red, because this checklist is still valid, player. You promised to fix these things. We're still going to confirm it with the day one patch. But it was so just horrible, so egregious, that like they really had to come to terms with, like, man, is this really what's going on?
Yeah.
And you know, there was internal conversations and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, if people had complained or not, Sony would have taken action on their own.
Now let me ask you.
I'm trying again, but hold on for the ride. Bottom line is this: I sat here for 1 year and said this goddamn game is called Cyberpunk. So every one of you all who went out and bought this, you got ass in you, because you should never buy something called Cyberpunk.
Oh, the PC version is good.
It was a rip-off of Blade Runner and Mankind Divided. That's what this game is. If somebody comes to me and says, I want you to give me money to fund the game, and I'll say, great, what you going to call the game? They say Cyberpunk, I'm hitting you in your mouth. You don't call games Cyberpunk. This is stupid. So you're You know, so you guys that bought this game are getting exactly what
Cyberpunk is a culture. It's a thing. And the problem is, if you look at PC, it's a good game on PC because it has the hardware to run it.
It's okay, Rob. There's still a lot of bugs and shit on PC.
Oh shit,
man, yeah.
You know, I think, in my opinion, CD Projekt Red. Kudos for them trying to go big, but sometimes you got to know your limitations and just work your way towards being that type of studio. You know, maybe they aim too high for this game, and instead of just gradually building towards that. Or I don't know. I mean, I think is this a clear case that old hardware really screwed things up? Like if they would have just focused on PS5, Series X, and PC, maybe things would have been better. If that's all they had to focus on the last 4 years. What do you think, Optimus?
Well, I mean, the answer to that,
I'm asking.
the short answer to your question is yes, but it's kind of like the thing where 3 cars arrive at a red light, right? 4 cars, each from each direction, arrive at a red light. One person on their phone, one person spill coffee in their lap, another person looking at some woman with a mini skirt, and then the other person just some old person that can't hardly see. And then they all crash in the middle, and you say, well, why did this wreck happen? There's more than one reason why the wreck happened.
Got it.
And so in this case right here, that is certainly part of it, Rock. To have less SKUs to deal with is certainly less work. The main problem is the shit that you said earlier, though, bro. Yes, it is. Management was looking to get paid, and they wanted to, like, we got our money back, so on and so forth. Their plan was to release, fix it later, just expecting people to wait, just like in that little bullshit letter they put out. Well, please wait. January, we're going to have something for y'all. February, we're going to have something for y'all. Please wait until then. Well, motherfucker, you should have released it in February. The problem is that management knew the dev team was crying. That's why they was leaking shit to Jason Schreier. Like, all of this stuff was going on. And management made the decision that it is more profitable for us to release during the Christmas season, get that Christmas money, and deal with it later. They just did not expect the fallout to be this big. But if they had narrowed their focus, absolutely, they could have got more attention on each platform. And from what I understand, I don't know this, I just heard this as a rumor, that like the dev team wanted to reduce the focus, but like those decisions are not in their hands.
Well, but the game is called Cyberpunk, so I mean, what do you call it? I mean, just at the end of the day, what Porter Rock was saying about people doing the damage control and stuff like that is true. But at the end of the day, the game's called Cyberpunk. It shouldn't work.
Well,
that's a great concept.
Because it's a stupid name for a game. I mean, it was a ripoff of Blade Runner, and they watched Blade Runner and they played Deus Ex and they said, let's make a game. We're gonna call it.
What do you want them to call it then, Craig?
Nothing. I didn't buy it. Okay. I didn't buy the game.
It's clear. I highly doubt renaming it to a name you like would have changed anything. I don't think the title of a game has zero impact. What the game was going to be.
If the game was called Mass Effect, it would have been a good game.
So then explain Andromeda.
Well, I can't.
Exactly, but it's called Mass Effect though.
Yeah, but
point taken. The name does not imply. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't. No, it don't. What matters is, listen, we hear Optimus say it all the time, is dev, tooling, and talent. And management. Dev, tooling, talent, management. That's the key to a good game. It's not the name of the game. It's the dev behind it, the talent behind the dev, the toolings that they have, toolings and compilers, and the management to support them. You need all those things balanced. Balance. Well, talent. Okay, balance. You need all those things need to be. How would you say? A symmetry of balance.
They all need to be in synergy.
Synergy. That's the word.
The whole thing is in danger. All of them have to work together in synergy.
They need to be balanced. And David Jaffe said the same. In fact, David Jaffe, who's a developer, and he was a developer with Sony, especially with God of War, he said that was probably one of the most important things while he was a developer there, is the management. Because he said Sony's management, he said it was the best experience he had, because not only did they listen to the developers and what it took, the timing, they made it their business to try to help developers and remove the obstacles that got in developers' way. Yeah. Whether it was whether it was they didn't have enough developers, or they needed a specific code, or they wanted them to buy a specific program, or they don't have enough assets. Whatever they said, this is getting in our way. The management responded and gave the developers what they needed. And they said, and David Jaffe said he always gave Sony props because they did their best to remove obstacles. If a developer said this is getting in my way, Sony says, okay, so what's the answer to fix this? I need this type of level talent, or I need this type of code, or I need you to buy this licensing. And Sony's like, hold on, we're going to get it for you.
Sony has a whole team called the ICE team, ICE, that is dedicated to helping everybody get the performance that they need out of PlayStation devices.
Yeah, you got some port. You got some super chat.
Yeah. So let me do this. So next super chat. Again, Holomoki says, but Fallout 76 was pretty damn close. I doubt it hit the mark as well. Didn't Bethesda do the same? All right, Holomoki. So we gotta make this clear. Number one, and thanks to Optimus, the certification process. Right? Bethesda met the mark for the certification process. Number two,
exactly.
Bethesda had review codes of all versions before the game came out. Right? Yeah. And if you look at the biggest issue, sure, it had a lot of bugs, but really the biggest issue Fallout 76 had was it wasn't a lot of stuff to do in it. It had no playable characters. Yeah. So people was expecting the Fallout single player to be online, meaning you have quests, you have characters, and that was not in the game. But here's the thing. People knew before they bought the game, or at least had the opportunity to learn those things was not present in the game because Bethesda released review copies before the game launched. Before you bought the game, you had the opportunity to go to Metacritic, see the list of reviewers, click on a review, and that reviewer would tell you, hey, this game is bare bones. It has no NPCs. It doesn't have quests. It's boring. There's some bugs. There's some glitches. So you can make the decision to be like, yeah, I ain't buying that game after reading the review. If you still bought the game, it's because of one or two things. You read the review and you accepted what you were getting, or two, you never bothered to look at review. But if you never bothered to look at the reviews, then you accept the responsibility of getting the game because you were warned. Because I think it was like in the 70s overall. So there was a whole bunch of reviews telling you, hey, this game is not good. And they listed the reasons why. So if you didn't put in the...
You were right. You were right when, not to interrupt you, you were right when you said people took the PC version that was reviewed, and they said, well, it's going to be like this.
Well, at least close to it.
You're close to it. Yeah, that did happen. Yeah. You know, that did happen. So that's not on Sony or CD Projekt Red. That's the fanboy.
No. That's on CD Projekt Red. 100%. That's CD Projekt Red 100%. 100%. Because the reason why there's no review copies is because they purposely held it back.
No.
So we had
I'm saying that when you were talking about how people took the PC review, they pushed it to be, well, this must be what the console may be like, and they were wrong.
Yeah, but that's what CD Projekt Red wanted. They're not stupid. CD Projekt Red knew what they were doing. No, I knew that shit before the game released. When I went to Metacritic, because I look at Metacritic and shit because I'm ready to talk shit. So when I looked at Metacritic and I saw that 91 and the game's not out yet, and I saw no review copies of console, I'm like, something is wrong. Because I never seen no shit like this before. Something is wrong and it's coming.
Yep. Hey, Rock, and on Twitter, I don't know if you ever follow him or see his stuff on Twitter, but Skill Up was like, I didn't do my review because I couldn't use my own footage. Yes. I had to wait about a console version myself. And when I saw, you had people keeping it real with you, like, I don't have a review.
There's people were warning you. They were like, I can't, they're gonna take it down, but they didn't sound enthusiastic about the game. Notice those people didn't go. Like, if they would have been like, hey, I can't show you the console review because of whatever, but I'm just gonna tell you up front, this is a great game, because they could have done that. But they didn't. None of them was telling you what they played so far was great. They just stood quiet. That should have been also another warning. Like, wait a minute. Something spooky is going on right here. Shout out. Let me do another super chat. Shout out to Forget Me Not. He says CDPR flew too close to the sun. Now they ashes. Yep, the Icarus.
That's true.
And then Holomoko, thank you so much for the super chat again. He said review says CDPR was buggy, but still $100 score, and that was the PC version. And that's always gonna happen. I mean, look at Death Stranding. This is the most boring game I ever played, but 10/10. It's just weird like that, right? But the fact that there was no PlayStation or Xbox review copies at all. Look at the screen now. Now you're seeing the reviews come out. If you seen that score before the game came out, millions of people would have not bought the game on PS4. They would have saw that score and they would have been like, hell no, I ain't buying this game. After looking at that, they would have clicked on the reviews. They would have been like, why the hell is this game scoring so low? They would have read the comments. They would have read the bugs, the glitches, and people would have not bought that game. And that's what's going on. Now, as far as the lawsuit... Oh, go ahead.
Rock, I just want to emphasize, because especially after these past few super chats, I can't be more clear. Cyberpunk was not delisted because it had bugs. Cyberpunk was delisted because it did not pass certification. There was a waiver to fix specific items with a day one patch. That day one patch did not address those items. Therefore, the game is not certified. Same is true on Xbox, which is weird, but well, whatever. Right now, Microsoft.
And we're going to lean into that. I want you to remember that point.
Okay, well, I'll just hold it till then. But anyway, it's not because of bugs. It's because it failed certification. The waiver means there will be a day one patch, not day two, not day three, a day one patch to fix the items that were waived. That did not happen. The game is still not certified.
And the game's called Cyberpunk.
Yeah, and oh boy. And I would say this also, right? So as far as the lawsuit, right? In my opinion, this is just an opinion. I think it's just clout chasing, right? Because why items were not certified in the super chat, I don't think we're gonna be able to know because you need the list. I don't think Optimus Code has the list of what's not certified.
No, but that might be made public. I don't know. Okay. I doubt it, but I'll see what I can do. Yeah,
okay. Yeah. No problem. You can have the list. But as far as the lawyers, I don't think it's gonna go anywhere in this lawsuit because here's the reason. Number one, no one got injured. So no one's actually getting hurt over this, right? Number two, you now have a system in place to refund your money. You understand what I'm saying? So anybody who's not happy with the product, they can get their money back. So there's nothing the courts can really do, or the courts is gonna do. Because normally if you have a lawsuit, it's because you're trying to find recoupment over something, right? For example, I'll give you a perfect example. I think there's like a lawsuit for iPhone. I think it was Europe, right? And right now, a lawsuit on iPhone is supposedly Apple purposely, when they send their patches on older phones, they slow down how the phone operates, right? And their reasoning is to save battery life because the operating system is demanding more, so they reduce the capability so the battery life lasts longer. That's their reason. But what the lawsuit is saying that because Apple is purposely slowing down iPhone, it gives the appearance that the phone is no good. So the first people think of is, I gotta buy a new iPhone because my phone is fucking up. You understand? So what they're doing is they're creating an environment where the consumer thinks it's time for me to get a new iPhone because they see this phone acting really slow as compared to when they first got it. You understand what I'm saying? Now with that, Apple does not have a program in place to refund that or to recoup that or to fix that. So the lawsuit is in place to force Apple to eventually provide monetary compensation. In terms of Cyberpunk, that's not necessary because you already have the refund. So you could you could already get your money back. So I don't think this lawsuit is even going to go anywhere because if you don't like the game, you just refund it. And then that's it.
Well, I mean, it's not a lawsuit. It's just an investigation. Now, if the investigation, if it turns out this stuff was done and it was done on purpose to manipulate stock prices and stuff like that. That some people could get in trouble for that, but that's why I keep saying it's an investigation. Is it one where they're going to say you can volunteer to come talk to us, or does it have teeth? Does this investigative body have subpoena power? That's a different kind of investigation. Again, if they are trying to determine whether board members and shareholders knew the game was trash and they held things back on purpose to help manipulate stock prices.
That's a different thing. Yeah, if it's a stock thing, you're talking about SEC. You know, you're talking about a whole bunch of. But as far, I'm gonna say this: 90% of gamers don't give a fuck about that. They still live with their moms. Most gamers still live with their mom, and their mom pays their bills. There ain't nobody really got. Very few people actually got stock. You know, Optimus got stock. You may have stock, I got stock, but most of these dudes don't got stock. That's irrelevant. So as far as a consumer, ain't nobody getting checks over this. Ain't nobody.
And here's the thing. For me, with these lawsuits, I don't even venture into those conversations because I done seen people win a bunch of lawsuits that I think they should have lost, and I done seen people lose lawsuits that they should have won. I don't know how that shit go.
Again, I don't think it's a lawsuit. I think it's just an investigation.
No, and people were threatening a class action lawsuit.
Yeah, I seen that, but I don't think it's not going to go anywhere.
It's just an investigation. I don't. Now, if it turns out that there was nefarious stuff done and they can prove it, then you may see a class action lawsuit. But right now, it's just an investigation. And again, if these developers are upset, I'm talking about the work there, and they start talking to these investigators, then you could see some action at that point. I still think Microsoft is going to try to buy it.
Here's the thing. If it's dealing with stocks, no gamers are going to see anything. There's not going to be. I agree. If there's any lawsuit or any class action, it's just between stockholders and investors. Has nothing to do with the gamers. As far as the gamers go, gamers are not going to get anything out of this because, again, you have the ability to recoup your money back by refund. So
that's true.
Well, you know? Rock, this part I do know. So again, I don't think gamers have an actual legal claim either.
No, but there's no legal claim.
Lawsuits work. The class action lawsuit, they not only go for what you put down, but this thing called like damages and like suffering. So they will give you extra money on top of what already paid.
Ain't nobody gonna get damaging. Exactly. Somebody, ain't nobody gonna be out there. I play Cyberpunk and I wanted to kill myself. This game is so bad. It's so bad. I got anxiety. You know, it violated my religious rights. You know, you ain't gonna get none of that. You're not gonna get any of that. But let me move on to this next topic, and then I'm gonna hit back to what you said, Point. But the next topic, and I'm glad you're here. PlayStation tooling. The conversation of tooling and improvements, right? You know, we talked about that, and in a common sense approach, yes, over time, as these kits, tools, compilers, all that stuff, as developers get familiar with them, as Sony and Microsoft releases whatever feature set and feel that is ready for developer use, we're going to see improvement, right? And it's improvement that we actually can see from the game, right? So Spider-Man, the remastered version of Miles Morales now has a third mode, right? That's 60 frames with ray tracing. So Optimus, I know you can't speak totally on it because you don't have it, but is this a sign that Sony is showing their tools, their compilers are getting better? That now they're able to provide ray tracing at 60 frames when before in the game launched, it was only available in a 30 frame mode. Can you speak on that? And how difficult ray tracing is?
Ooh.
You know, like I saw the video from Digital Foundry, and they were talking about how difficult ray tracing is in a 30 frame mode. Now you're talking a 60 frame mode. If you can talk about that.
Do ray tracing in 60 frames.
Why?
That's what D-Batch said.
Why?
Well, that's what D-Batch said.
He asked why?
No, that's what D-Batch told me.
So look here, man. So, Rock, yes, the answer to your question again is yes. The tools are coming along, and like it's become a meme now because of, I guess, a certain fan base. But tools and compilers is a real thing.
Yeah.
And like it is very important. There will be zero game development without tools and compilers. And the very best developers have the very best tools and compilers. And people misunderstand there's not just one set of tools. There's like multiple sets of tools that each dev shop uses. Then the really good ones will start to make their own tools and they can supplement different little things. So it all works together, right?
Yeah.
And so there are two things that happen. The first thing is exactly what you said, that they are learning more and more to harness the power of the PlayStation 5, the features. I guess I should say the features of the PlayStation 5. I'm going to try to avoid that little power term because it takes on a different meaning. But people are learning to harness the features and the efficiency of the PlayStation 5 because of the tools. They improve the tooling. They have low-level access, so they can do things in the rendering pipeline to get you these great, fantastic results that we're seeing. But the second thing is, which I personally think is most important, because if anybody been following me any length of time on Twitter, I've been saying this repeatedly over and over. Sony is allowing their developers to get away from that 4K native bullshit, and developers are able to target a lower resolution with higher fidelity and higher features. I was quite surprised that they could do 1440p, with the dynamic 4K with ray tracing. I really did think that it would have to be as low as 1080p to get ray tracing with 60 frames, at least, any type of elaborate ray tracing, something that's above like the bare minimum.
Yeah.
But they're actually doing a really good job with this, and it is because they are not handcuffed to that native 4K. So both of those things happen, Rock. Yeah. I can target a lower resolution with higher image quality, and I can squeeze more features and efficiency out of the tooling and the compilers. Both of those working together, and it's a tangible result that you can see.
Okay. I was going to ask something. Go ahead, Porter.
No, go ahead. So I will say this, and I can say, obviously I'm going to be in my bag right now, and I will say it's because of, and I will say this: Sony, obviously they're doing great business decision, not tying their hands, the developers' hands. But I also have to give a shout out to the PlayStation community, the PlayStation influencers, whether they're huge influencers, with 1 million subscribers, and even the low level guys like us, Craig, Jay Barry. Just PlayStation Nation across the spectrum. And the reason why I give props is because at no point over the last 10 months have we talked hard about native 4K gaming. We didn't give that impression to Sony that they had to deliver that to us. It wasn't us. It was the other crowd. It was them. It was them people, right? It was the Xbox dudes. It was the greenies, right? The greenies made it a point where native 4K. We weren't like that. The only message we consistently said was you got to release the big banging games, right? We even said if it has to be 1440p, fine. But these games. We never held Sony to a standard, and we never put them handcuffed into this native 4K lock 60 with ray tracing across every single title. That's why Sony never came out. We never even hand tied them to 60 frames. Technically, a lot of us said 4K 30 is fine with ray tracing. If that's what you got to do, and it's still a great game, and we played it before. It was the Xbox side that's like, nah, bullshit. 60 frames will give me death. Even Aaron Greenberg made a statement that the days of 60 frame gaming on Xbox is over. He made that statement, which is a terrible statement to do, because once again, you put a handcuff on everybody, not just first party, but third party. Sony never made any statements on the performance metrics, native 4K, whatever. They didn't talk or brag about that. And PlayStation guys, from the biggest PlayStation influencers to the smallest crumb sides to the J-dubs who talk shit, we never pushed that message to the point where Sony had to be like, damn, we getting a lot of people on social media talking about native 4K and 60 is a must. God damn. If that's what they want, we gotta find. No, we never put them in that position. We just told Sony release great exclusives. That's it.
Well, and again, when Epic showed their demo running on the PS5, and they flat came out and said it was 1440p, but they had 8K textures in that demo, people just kind of like, yeah, well, it's more important to have the graphics than it is the resolution. Yeah. So yeah, I'd much rather have 1440p with 4K and 8K textures than and this is somebody who plays on PC. You get a with 60 frame option. If you want to throw ray tracing in there,
man, I've settled my none of that shit. All I want is banging game that look good. I don't need nobody running no analysis to tell me, look, man, if I can't play by myself, miss me with that trash. Give me the games. Period.
Yeah.
That's my point. Is to do it like that.
So I know you have a question, Craig. Give me a second. I want to say this. So number one, everybody. We got over 250 people watching. Please hit that like button. I would truly appreciate it. So if you could just spend a couple of seconds and just hit the thumbs up, I would truly appreciate the support on that one. And then number two, what's your question, Craig?
How are they able to do ray tracing on RDNA 1? I got an RDNA 1 card and they got no ray tracing.
This dude, man. I thought you were really gonna say something, man. I thought you really
going to. That's my question. I mean, again, that is my question. I mean, I have a 5600 XT from AMD. Beautiful card. Okay, it lights up. It says Radeon on it, or it says Sapphire on it. So it's pretty cool. But it's an RDNA 1 card, and I need to know. Why I can't do ray tracing on my RDNA 1 card.
Because it doesn't have ray tracing capable. It's not capable of ray tracing.
But PS5 is. I was told by the RDX podcast, D-Batch, that it was RDNA 1.
Oh man,
so you have a lot of hate for that podcast.
Listen, and let me lead to my second point. I appreciate that.
You say that I got lied to? You say that I got lied to by them? I'm just asking.
In fact, I'm glad you did that, Craig, because this is going to lead to my next point. It's going to be you just created the perfect segue to my next point. All right, so I'm going to say this, and I'm glad you did that. So, and I'm going to ask you two gentlemen, right? I'm from New York, right? All right. So when somebody tells me bullshit, or when somebody tells me something for months, hey, yo, Porter Rock, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. And it doesn't happen. And then they come back and say, Porter Rock, well, what happened was, and then they list these long excuses, and then they come back and say, but this is what's going to happen. Should I listen to them a second time around?
What?
And I'm going to say this. So for the last couple of months, many influencers said, I spoke with developers. They're saying the game's running great on Xbox Series X. They're having issues on PlayStation 5. Prepare to be disappointed. I talked to developers. They kept saying it over and over. I talked to developers. I can't name them, but I'm telling you, things are going to be bad for PlayStation 5. Things are running great on Series X. The consoles come out. It is absolutely nothing. Nothing is coming out. Not only is the games running great on PlayStation, but many of them are running better on PlayStation 5. So it is nothing as they said. So now after all this, these dudes are now back saying, I talked to developers. Xbox Series X will eventually get better. I talked to developers. And they're telling me. So now here's my question. They're saying the same thing. Should we listen to these dudes?
Well, who are these dudes?
Everybody. Dealer, Cole, Tim Dog, everybody. Listen, it's the same dudes from the past that said I'm talking to developers. They are repeating the same words. I'm talking to developers. They're doing. I don't think they notice. They're doing the same exact thing.
Well, but if they didn't have here's my question, and it's actually pretty funny.
Let me ask you this: should we listen to them at this point? Do they get the benefit of the doubt?
No, because if they didn't have the clairvoyance to see that the PlayStation was going to be running all the games better, and then they said they should have known it would have been tools. Whether the developers they talked to said they would have said, "Hey, look, there's a tooling problem with the Xbox, and PlayStation is going to be running all these games better." But they didn't know that, so I personally wouldn't listen to them. That's just me personally. Everybody can do whatever they want, you know. I'm too busy playing my games and trying to figure out how to take pictures on the PS5. It's like a 10-step process for some reason for me. But overall, I wouldn't listen to them because they didn't know what they were talking about.
All right,
how about you, Optimus?
Craig has a lot of hate for RDS.
I'm not hating nothing. If I got lied to, of course I'm going to be pissed. But no, I mean, that's just me, though. Somebody may lie to other people.
Hold on, let me rock out for a minute, Craig. I think we understand full well where you sit on this one, player. So
the game's called Cyberpunk.
I think the term developer, and I'm making air quotes around developers, I think that term is being used too loosely and too frequently. Because how can I put this? So let's just say dealer, right? Well, no, because me and Dealer are pretty cool. Dealer actually does a pretty good job of listening to me. So let's just say there's this person, and his name is Racer X.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that's from Speed Racer.
Yeah.
We're showing our age. We're showing our age right now.
Yeah. That was my guy, boy. He's the shooting star. The Mach 5.
Once you said that, I'm like, oh man, my man broke out the Speed Racer.
All right, so let's just say Racer X got a podcast, and Racer X, like, I want to holler at developers. And so Racer X says, hey, Optimus Code, how is this going to happen right here, A, B, and C? And then Optimus Code says to you, oh, no, that's not going to happen. It's going to be X, Y, and Z. And so you say, I don't like that because that information does not fit my podcast. Okay, well, thanks, Optimus Code. I'm gonna get back with you in a minute. So then you go find this fraud motherfucker like Gavin Stevens. You say, hey, Gavin, ABC. And Gavin says, oh, yeah, ABC, and D, and twice on Sundays. So then Racer X goes, okay, bet. I'm gonna roll with what Gavin said because Gavin fits ABC. So when Racer X tells you that he talked to a developer, he did. Racer X does have a developer that's telling him this bullshit. The problem is which developer. So this term developer is used too loosely. There are legit, like I told y'all before, if your tech influencer, everything they say, you like it and it makes you happy, that's a red flag because a tech influencer's job is to tell you the truth. And a lot of times the truth is not going to go your way when you on some console war shit, but they just going to tell you, here's what's true regardless. And when you discard that, looking for specific people that's going to cater to shit that you trying to put out there, then these are the results that you're going to get.
Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you this. So let's say we take Racer X, right? So let's say Racer X in the beginning starts pushing ABC. ABC. The delta of ABC is ABC. ABC. You're gonna get great ABC. You know, the other console that's doing XYZ, it's okay. It's still a good console. I'm gonna get it because XYZ has great exclusives, but ABC, that's what I'm gonna play on because ABC does ABC. That's ABC. ABC. The console launches. And it's not even letters. It's 1, 2, 3. It's not even letters. It's not D. It's not F. It's not G. It's not elemental P. We talking integers here. We're like, holy shit. We're not even talking letters. This shit is numbers. This all right. And now Race X is out. Hey, I got the lowdown. It's 4, 5, and 6. Should I listen to your ass when you didn't even know it was numbers? Why should I listen to you when you didn't even know that it was numbers? You were telling me ABC and this is XYZ. But when we get the products in our hands, we're talking numbers. I mean, it's proof. We are playing the games, and it's numbers. You are not even near. Which telling me who the fuck is you talking to? Like, who are you talking to?
You 3 miles away from what's actually.
So why should I listen to you now? Like, did you get new developers? Do you have new points of contact? Because here's the thing. The definition is insanity. It's people who are doing the same thing and expecting a different result. What result are we going to get from hearing the same thing? You see what I'm saying?
Well, I think well, like I said, if you didn't have the clairvoyance to know that the PS5 was going to run games better, because for some reason I knew that, I didn't have to talk to developers. I just listen. I listened to what they did. I listened to what they actually disclosed. When you had all these developers, I mean, people that were coming out on record saying, the PS5 is easier to develop for. The PS5 is going to be able to stream in content. That'll save us more budget that we can use on different things for stability. I'm like, they're telling you what's about to happen. So it wasn't about. That's why I kept asking Code, and not this Code, but other people, what's going to happen with these 52 CUs? When Code literally said, "Look, Negro, nothing's going to happen." Because it's all, it's all about possibilities. The T-flop is all about something that might happen, not proof of performance. So I don't know why Racer X, who didn't have the clairvoyance to see that, went around and went with a certain narrative. Now, to me, the people who did that look stupid at this point, and I'm talking about all of them. So I wouldn't listen to them, but everybody's different. Everybody's different.
And Optimus, and I'm gonna say this, right? If Racer X wants to go out there, right, and say, "Hey, I talked to developers," and not just simply saying games on this console, on the Xbox Series X, is going to get better, the performance is going to get better, because I don't think you need to talk to a developer for that. I think that's pretty much a given, because that's been the case pretty much for most of consoles throughout every generation. Towards the end of the gen, you see the best graphical showpieces as compared to what you saw in the beginning of the gen. So I don't even think you need a developer for that. But if you're Racer X, right, and you're about to go out there and say the Xbox Series X will eventually perform better than the PS5, do you think Racer X should at least try to get info on the PlayStation 5 and see if you could get points of contact or whatever, so someone could tell you what PlayStation's cooking up? Even though it's on the low, you have to have your little secret dudes. But do you think at this point it should be more about, all right, before I go out there and put my name out there again, let me try to find out what PlayStation's actually doing? Because for a console that's 10 T-flop, right? And then and with the recent news of ray tracing in Spider-Man at 60 frames, they're doing something right. I don't know what it is, but they are doing something that was not hyped. People were not expecting. So it's time to find out what this console, what the compilers, what the devs are actually doing. What is Sony actually doing in this box? And then let me find out, and then with a proper comparison, I could put my name out there with, okay, I learned what PlayStation 5 has. I learned what the dev kids are doing. While they're doing good things, I found out it will eventually cap out and it has its limits. Xbox will push beyond those limits. So yes, I can safely say, Xbox will have eventually the better version of games, because through research and contacts, I found out the limitations and the positive and negatives between the two. Right? Do you think that's what should they be doing now? Just making blanket statements.
So the thing is, Rock, Racer X already thinks that's what they're doing. So when Racer X talks to some fraud like Gavin, who will give the impression that they have worked with both dev kits, and they say, and I'm telling you A, B, C, X, Y, Z, then like you're just going to be deceived. You only as good as your tech expert. And if your tech expert is trash, all your tech talk going to be trash.
Well, let me ask you this. And I agree. I completely agree with that statement. But at the same time, should Racer X be like, listen here, motherfucker. Like, listen here. Listen here, bitch. Right? Let me put it this way. If that would have been me, if I would have had an Xbox podcast, and this Gavesty, I have him on my podcast, I'm out there doing the Lord's work with Xbox. Yo, listen, I'm just a different type of dude. You best believe. Like, listen, if I would have been an Xbox dude, right? A primary Xbox podcast, right? And I would have had this podcast, I'm not even going to talk about that. I'll have my own crew. And we out there talking big. I'll be like, yo, Xbox the best box. Yo, these numbers are going to do great. Yo, my man Stevens, tell me about it. Hell, I have, what's that other dude? Starts with a D. What's his name? Fuck. Oh, damn. Ooh, what's that other, not D-Man, no, that other insider. Hold on. Let me make my point. What, fuck, I forgot, Golem Dusk. I have Golem Dusk on my podcast, and these two are selling me the world, and I'm putting my name out there. I'm getting the views. I'm like, hell yeah. You best believe, after the first Digital Foundry video, and PS5 has the best version, I would have been like, okay, I'm going to do a live podcast, right? And I would have these dudes, and before the live podcast, we all quiet. I would have been playing nice. Let's see if it was you guys. Let's say the 60 frame no lag podcast was an Xbox podcast, right? And Optimus, you feeding me XYZ, ABC, all this shit. And Craig Harris is like, yeah, Xbox with the 52 CUs is going to dominate the gaming industry. And I'm out there, yo, I'm Porter Rock 77. I'm the greatest Xbox gamer ever. And my God, this console is going to be the shit. Fuck PlayStation. That shit is 1080p trash. And I'm doing all this work. The consoles come out. I would have been like, hey, yo, you coming on 60 frames? And they're like, yeah, Porter Rock. Hey, yo, it's crazy. And I would have been like, yeah, it's crazy. And I would have been cool. Not live. You would have not known what's coming. I would have been like, yeah, Optimus, you good? Are you good? Yo, you sick? You got COVID? And I'm making sure, and offline, before it goes live, I'm first going to check if there's anything going on in your personal life. I'd be like, yo, are you going through anything? And you would have been like, nah, everything's great. I'm chilling. I'm loving my Xbox. I'm like, cool. Hey, yo, Craig, are you good? Yeah, everything's good. You got some rest? You ate? Hey, both of y'all. And you guys would have been like, damn, Porter Rock, everything, why are you checking up on us? I'm like, no, I'm just making sure you guys are cool, because I want to make sure the podcast, when we go live, we have the energy and everything's good. And then you guys would be like, cool. And then I would have went live. I would have been like, hey, what's up to the chat? Hey, yo, shout out to the chat. I would have been like, Sam Ash. I would have list. And I'd be like, hey, the topics I got is lies. I'm not talking about that. I want to talk about one thing and be like, what? Optimus, what the fuck happened? You told me 52 CUs. What happened? Because I'm going to hold your asses to the fire. I need blood. I would have ripped into both of y'all. I'd be like, Craig, why the fuck did you tell me 52 CUs would do this? Where the fuck is it? I'm out here looking like an idiot. I would have flipped out. I don't know how I don't know how fucking what's this dude? Dealer Gaming does it. I would have someone would need to be sacrificed. Someone's gonna get on the altar, and I better see a stake through the heart. Who's gonna die for this? Someone gotta take heat for this. Yo, these dudes are lucky I'm not an Xbox dude, because I would have had Kid Smooth on the podcast. I would have invited all the Xbox dude. There would have been 15 people in the goddamn Discord. I would have had B-Batch, Dealer, Colt. Yo, I would have had 100. Yo, everybody. They would have been like, damn, Porter's inviting all the Xbox dudes. I'd be like, yeah, we're going to have a great Xbox showing, and I would have ripped everybody. Everybody will get this ass chewing. I would be like, I have my name out there, hyping Xbox, wearing these ugly-ass green pajamas and onesies. And you do this to me? I even bought the body wash. And you do me like this? Oh, I would have ripped everybody. I would have killed everybody. I would have been banished. But before I get banished, I would have ripped everyone live on the air. Everybody would have got that work. I would be so pissed if that shit would happen. I don't know how they do it. But yo, that's just me though. Anyway, what are you going to say, Craig?
Oh, fast code. You're saying that your Your podcast is only as good.
Got me scared, man.
I would have flipped out so bad. I would have set up everyone. I would have had post up D-Batch. If I was a hardcore Xbox dude and they all love me, I'd be like, yo, Cole, can you come on podcast? Yeah, I got you, Puerto Rock, Xbox, the best box. Yo, you're cool. Kiss move. You can go on. I have Cole, Dealer. Hey, yo, D-Batch. Post up. Yeah. Hey, yo, 100. Hey, yo, hey, K-Mega. Yo, all of y'all, yeah, we all gonna chill. We're gonna have a great time. Oh, they have no idea what's coming. Oh my, they would have hated me. They would have hated me because I would have. Hey, yo, Gavin, yeah, you too. Get up in here. We all mooch, crowd gamer. Hey, everybody, let's get an Xbox Live party on my channel right now. Oh my God, that would have been a thrashing. Yo, I would have destroyed everyone. Everybody. Oh, I would have been like, what the? Oh my God. I would have had Gritty. Oh, you have no idea. I would have destroyed the internet that day. I would have been blocked. Everybody would have blocked me, but I don't care. It would have been worth it. It would have been worth it. You best believe there would have been. Yo.
Well, if your podcast is only as good as your tech guy, now that answers all my
I would have had oh my God. I would have had like 20 people. I would have had Xbox on there. Yo, I would look for every Xbox guy on that list. Wandering Dutch, you could get it too. Or everybody would have been up in there. Oh my God. Yo, you people would have left after 15 minutes. I would have flipped out if I was an Xbox dude. Oh my God. I would have been, because to me, that is the most embarrassing shit I have ever seen. I've never seen so many people so wrong in my life. With that, I'm so glad. Oh my God, I'm so glad I never got into that whole PlayStation Insider shit. In fact, I'm kind of glad we really don't have an insider because I would have.
Insider was the developers. I mean, they came out and were saying what was going to happen. It's like, well, it's obvious that the trend line is going to what the trend line is saying. So yeah, I don't know why this is an issue. I'm not surprised at this point. I'm more surprised if Xbox has a game running better, because the only way that's going to happen is if they have to lower the resolution down in order to get it just to do what 60 frames, which is fine. I got no issue with that, but there's other things going on with the Xbox that those guys, for whatever reason, didn't know. But you're right, Puerto Rock. Why they didn't know that then, but now they're claiming something's going to happen next year, 2 years from now. It's beyond me. It's beyond me.
Let me do some super chats. Ramon Terrell, he said. Raymond Terrell, he says, "God damn, you got me in tears. Love the show, P Rock, especially when you have code on. Appreciate it, brother. I'm glad you're enjoying the entertainment. That's what it's all about, right?" Absolute MMA, CD Projekt Red went from the most overhyped studios for one game to the worst studio in 2020 thanks to Cyberpunk. Machine learning. Laughing my ass off. Yeah, that's no shit, man. Thank you for the super. He also said, he said Cyberpunk flops and Xbox are claiming it. And that, man, there's some good segues here. Because that's my last segue into this. And definitely I'm glad Optimus in here, right? So Optimus, I forgot the tweet you made, but it was in terms of my reply to you where I said, hell no, I don't trust Xbox, whatever. I'm paraphrasing because I forgot what I exactly said. But it was pretty much because of the fan base, I'm very reluctant to believe Xbox will be a powerhouse. Do I think Xbox could be good, come out decent, and improve? Yes. Do I think they're going to be this beast some people expect them to be? I'm very reluctant, right? And ever since I made that statement, I have been showing you more and more proof on how the fan base is, how they are, right? They don't hold Microsoft to any standard. Like I even told you, I really don't know what the Xbox guys want, right? At first, and you seen it, they preach power. They preach power to the point where you want to vomit. They preached it to the point where, like, you start getting nausea and you're going to throw up on the mic. Because that's how bad they preach power. They preach the better version of multiplats. They even said majority of gamers play multiplats, not exclusive. Therefore, you should be playing the best version of these games. The decision to choose a console should be based on the majority of the games you play, which are multiplats. Therefore, I'm getting an Xbox. That is what these dudes, and everybody heard it time and time again.
Yeah.
What are they playing now? They're not playing the best versions. They're not doing it. They are still happy playing these versions on Xbox. You see what I'm saying? They're happy. You see, they are happy. You know, you even heard them. Oh, it's not happening to me. Everything's fine for me. They are happy the way things are. And the point where I'm trying to say this, what do they want? I don't know what they want. I really don't know. 1 minute they hype Initiative as quadruple A. I never even heard of that term other than jokes. But they said, nah, Initiative is a quadruple A studio that's going to rival Naughty Dog. And now they go, oh, it's okay to make episodic content. It's all right. It might actually work out. I don't know what they want, right? And because they don't actually express a line and actually directly tell Microsoft, this is what we want. This is what you need to do. They constantly switch what they want with the needs, not even the needs of what Microsoft does. Microsoft does anything, they see it as a positive. Anything that Microsoft does is a positive move, which is impossible. You have to pick a vision, and they don't stick to it. So how can I invest or even try to invest in a brand where the actual fan base that Microsoft listens to doesn't guide them and tell them what really needs to happen? You understand? They constantly listen. Cyberpunk is a buggy mess, right? It's trash on consoles. Why are you claiming that game? Why would you want to claim it?
But they told you what they want. They want a studio that's going to rival Sony studios. And again, their issue is that they reach out for third-party developers to do that for them. So yes, they're going to defend.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. That first statement is in the beginning they said they want a studio to rival Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog doesn't make episodic content. They make big blockbuster exclusives, right? Big blockbuster titles. So when the rumor came out that Microsoft is looking into doing these seasons and episodic content for the Initiative, the community should have came back, even if it's a rumor, right? But they should have been like, hold up, Microsoft, even though this is a rumor, we want to let you know that is not our expectation. Initiative is supposed to rival Naughty Dog. We expect a big blockbuster game. Just to let you know. Now, this might be a rumor, so we're not going to jump the gun, but we're just going to remind you what we expect from Initiative. Just to let you know. Have a nice day, Microsoft. They didn't do that.
Yeah.
They didn't do that at all. They actually said, well, that might work out. What do you mean it might work out? You're not, listen, Operation Director, $2 super chat, he did an animation with one of them. That's dope. Shout out to Operation Director. That's pretty dope, right?
Yeah, that's tight.
Yeah.
One up.
Listen. They should have, even if it's a rumor, they have to certify what they expect from Microsoft, at least with the Initiative. They should have told them, listen, we get you're going to try to invent some things, but with the Initiative, that is not what we want. We want Initiative to be that big studio that creates these big franchises. We want our own version of Naughty Dog. Doesn't necessarily mean we want The Last of Us or Uncharted. That's not what we're saying. But whatever big IP they have cooked up, it got to be big. It's got to be great. It's got to be part of the conversation for Game of the Year. It's got to be a new established franchise. Do not use Initiative for a new experiment trying to push Game Pass. Leave them alone. Pick another studio. Let Compulsion Game do that shit. Hell, let Ninja Theory do that shit. Pick anybody else. But do not have Initiative be this experimental studio. We want a big blockbuster game. That's what we want. Have a nice day, Microsoft. But they didn't do that. They didn't do that. They didn't do anything. They didn't react or respond to anything. In fact, they're saying it might work. Who knows? Give it a chance. What do you mean give it a chance? That's Microsoft is not in a position to give things a chance. You got to deliver. So what do you think, Optimus? Do you see what I'm talking about?
Oh, I see exactly what you're talking about. And so as usual, you're right on the money. But Rock, I think it's so when you say the Xbox fans So to be clear, I'm with you 100%, and I think we are like-minded when it comes to you have to speak up to give the organization direction about what you want for your money. I spend my money with you. This is what I want to see in return. Mm-hmm. The thing is, I think that your view of the Xbox community should probably be larger. Because while it is definitely true that there is a significant portion of people that say things that baffle me, like I spent my money, this is not what I wanted for my money, I'm not going to just ride with them just because I've made the investment and whatever they say is fine by me. I have never been that person. I've always had questions. I've always had my own point of view. There would be times when we would be in church at Bible class, I would raise my hand and they wouldn't even call me. Like, they would dismiss the whole thing because they didn't want to hear what I had to ask. So I've never been one to just take something because somebody said it. Like, it's got to make sense. A lot of things Xbox does to me does not make sense. Some things they do, sure, but when I look at the Xbox fan base, especially on Twitter, it's like, how are you applauding this? And like, wait, why are you defending that? Like, no, call that shit out. But they don't. But I look on podcasts and specifically IGN and certain other media outlets, and I see them taking an approach that I would also take. They say things that's more sensible and more reasonable. So when you look at who Xbox is getting its direction from, if Xbox only listened to the niggas on Twitter that I see, we would be in horrible shape. Like, oh my God. As long as the Xbox community at large is bigger than the niggas I see on Twitter, I think they'll be okay. But you right, the shit that I see on Twitter just confuses me, and I don't understand how they could have such low standards. I just don't get it. And I know I spend more money on Xbox than probably half them bastards put together. Yeah. But it just baffles me how little they care about the platform because they are not trying to make it better. They're trying to win arguments against you.
And that's it. And that's it. So
that's all they're trying to do.
And so let me do this. Deron Edwards, thank you for the super chat. He says, why didn't Cyberpunk 77 release next gen versions at launch? I think Optimus probably be better, but my opinion, that shit is nowhere near done.
Yeah, it's not even ready. That's why.
It's not even close. It's not even close to being ready. Not even close. I don't think.
It's never going to be ready. It's called Cyberpunk. Let's go play Deus Ex Mankind Divided. It's the same thing.
The name of that game is Deus Ex, not Deus Ex.
Well, whatever.
He said, well, whatever. The other game is still called Cyberpunk. The other game is still called Cyberpunk.
Yeah, the game's still called Cyberpunk, and it does. And Deus Ex, it works. The last time I looked, you can actually play that game.
Let me say this, right? So there's a dude named quote hashtag bullshit mafia. He made this quote right on Twitter. He said, Xbox acquires 15 studios, PS fanboys. Xbox has no games. Xbox acquires ZeniMax 8 studios, PS fanboys. Xbox has no games. Cyberpunk 2077 is only playable on Xbox consoles and announces more exclusive than PS fanboys. Xbox has no games. I think that's their coping mechanism. So I responded to him and told him, notice how you're just talking about acquired and you're not actually mentioning released, meaning what do we have to play, right? What do we have to play, right? What do we have to play, right? So I mentioned that and someone responded, and shout out to this dude because he's a good dude. What is UE did. Okay. UE GameWire. He's a good dude, right? He's probably he's a PC gamer. I think he was an Xbox gamer, but I think he saw the light and he went PC.
Yeah, he likes Xbox.
Yeah, he likes Xbox, but I think he saw the light, so he's leaning more towards PC now than ever, which I don't blame him. But he said this is, so when I made that response, he said this is 100% correct. With that said, you need to have studios to release games, and we all know they are coming, and it may be in bunches since most were quiet at one time. So I replied to him, and until that day comes, you don't have games. When you do have games, that means you can play them. But the criticism is valid because MS doesn't wait for their $4.99 if you buy an Xbox Series X now, do they? No, they get their money now. Therefore, right now, Xbox got no games. That's it.
Well,
they don't have games. They got your money, but they didn't release games. That's just the reality.
They have games. They don't have no games on that platform. You can't play anywhere else. So they will never have no games, because as long as I can get Stadia or get a Switch or get whatever, get a PlayStation or a PC, I don't need an Xbox. Therefore, you ain't got no games. They were talking about Flight Sim. Flight Sim is a PC game ported to Xbox. That's what it is. So is Gears Tactics. That is a PC game ported. So I just so until they have something that I have to physically order or go buy an Xbox for, and I can't play anywhere else, you got no games. I told that same guy, got no games means you got nothing that to play.
And that's
I can't play somewhere else.
And it's amazing. Because it's only the Xbox guys that's trying to change the definition. They had no problem using it in 2013 and 14 with PlayStation 4. Yeah. Remember Sparse? So they knew 100% the definition of having no games. The definition of having no games isn't literally you don't have a game to play. Yes, you got 2K, you got Madden, you got Assassin's Creed, you got all these third-party games that's on every platform, and you can play that. The definition of no games is simply being what games you have to differentiate yourself from the other platforms, right?
Exactly.
Because if I buy
no games means you have no compelling reason to drive people to your platform.
Yes, exactly, right? Because if it's just about Assassin's Creed, 2K, Madden, you can play that on PC and PlayStation. And when you do play those games on PC and PlayStation, you have access to more games.
Yep.
Right? Outside of those. So outside of the third-party multiplats, if you play your games on PlayStation or PC, you get even more games. That's the moniker behind Xbox got no games. Because if you choose Xbox right now, you're just limited to the third-party games. And old games that are backwards compatible. You got nothing new to separate yourself from the rest of the pack. So technically speaking, if you pay $4.99 for an Xbox Series X, you actually made a worse decision for yourself from a gaming perspective. I'm talking strictly gaming. Now, if you talk about friends, ecosystem, that's a different conversation. Just from a gaming perspective, you actually chose at this current time for a product that gives you less gaming choices. When you can pay for another product that has those same choices plus even more new compelling choices. You got more choices of types to play.
Hold on. Let me add to that, because you're right. I don't mean to take away from your point.
Go ahead.
So I just want to throw one thing in there, especially when you already had an Xbox One X.
That's true. Because Microsoft technically ain't. I mean, again, in terms of gaming content. Now, if you just simply and I know Xbox guys that like Xbox because they just there's Xbox guys I do respect, right? And they don't have channels, whatever, and they're not very vocal on Twitter. I just talk to them in DM, casual conversations, right? And they're Xbox fans in the same manner that I wouldn't even use fans. I would say they stay playing on Xbox for the same reason I stay playing on iPhone or I stay using iPhone, right? And we both have the same view. We invested so much in the ecosystem. The ecosystem does enough for me to be entertained, and they're not in this battle to prove that their ecosystem or their console is better than another, right? They might even recognize the other platforms better, but that's not as important as how much money and time is spent. Like iPhone, I recognize generally in terms of hardware and features, Samsung usually releases better phone, and they're usually ahead of the curve past iPhone. But I don't give a shit. Because all I really do is just Twitter, talk shit, take some pictures, Facebook, use the calendar. I don't do a whole lot of shit on my phone, right? For me to really look into phone features. I just do the basics. I spent money on the ecosystem. It's familiar. That's why I always upgrade to iPhone. And I'm never going to leave it. But I'm not out there trying to prove to people iPhone's better than Samsung. I don't care about that.
But I hear you.
But I'm not out there. It doesn't matter. I'm simply on it because it's just an easier decision and it pays the bills on what I want. Some people stay on Xbox for that reason. It pays the bills. It just pays the bills as them as a gamer. They invested a lot of money on games. They get to keep their games. They like the ecosystem. They play with their boys who they've been gaming with them for 10 years or so. They're familiar with how Xbox does things. They're cool with that. And that's all they really need. You know? And they're good with that.
Well, yeah. And what I accept
and I respect that.
Something that was said at GameStop 6 years ago when I was leaving at GameStop. And the employees were outside, and we just all started a conversation. And they literally said, look, and this guy's friend worked at GameStop. He just got married. And they bought him an Xbox. And he said, yeah, Xbox is for casual gamers. He said, you come home, you jump online with your friends, you do some stuff online. That's it. He said, if he wants to really hunker down and play some really good games, you play on PlayStation. That's coming from them. That to me is what the issue is. That's just you got guys. Well, you have guys in the Xbox community. They think that everybody consumes the media the same way they do. Like, no, you guys are niche. You guys are coming home from work, putting on headsets. Yeah, they're coming home from work, putting on headsets and doing raids and calling in the B2 and getting one-man army. That's not what the PlayStation gamers are doing.
How have you known, Craig? That's not casual shit. If you're doing raids and shit, you far from a casual gamer. But
I think that's casual. That to me is a casual gamer. Whereas that the PlayStation people, the ones that I know, they are much more hardcore. They're trying to get trophies and trying to do different.
I don't agree with that. Yeah. I don't agree with that.
Oh, that's fine. That's just what I've observed.
No, the only reason why is because, and I would say the only reason why I don't agree with that, because you're equating hardcore on certain metrics you perceive. Wow, and you just heard Optimus. If you have a headset and you out there playing 200 hours doing raids, I see that as also hardcore. Because you're dead. To me, a hardcore gamer is just someone. I mean, there is no really. It's really hard to pinpoint what a hardcore gamer is. But I generally look at it as a hardcore gamer who's really focused on gaming, whether it's just one game or across multiple games for whatever reason. Whether it's the game itself they're trying to beat, whether it's because hold on.
To me, if you're playing a game with a bunch of people, that's not hardcore.
Craig,
let me ask you this
right here. Let me and she said, Craig must not never been in a raid.
Yeah. Oh shit. Let me ask you this, Craig. Let me ask you this, right? Let's say you had PlayStation guys, right? And they challenge you, Jabari, to play MLB, right? Multiplayer, they have their team, we have our team, right? And we're like, yeah, we'll play. And we play them, and they whoop our asses. I'm talking, it looks like a football score. It's like 42-2. And me and you are like, and we ask them, like, damn, you guys are really good. Like, you guys almost look like you're really the New York Yankees and shit. You do call signs. We hear you on the mic talking about, steal a play. You do double steals. You do all this level shit. Like, damn, how you guys get so good? And they tell you, man, this is all we play. We play MLB 7 hours a day. Me and my boys, every day. We throw in 7 hours. And we will kill anybody on PlayStation. And comes to MLB. You wouldn't call them hardcore gamers? Yeah, you would say they're casual.
Oh, you cut out.
I'm saying, would you call them casual? Those gamers. All they play is MLB, but they play.
Let me make this clear. If you're coming home from work, putting on a headset, calling in the B2, that's a bitch ass casual.
Huh? What?
Period.
How is it a casual?
That's just casual gaming.
How?
I mean, the serious games, because if they were hardcore, they would be getting paid for it. But the PlayStation gamers.
I mean, now you're moving the goalpost. So none of us is getting paid. So we're all casual.
I'm getting paid, so
you getting paid for gaming. What tournament? What tournament you win? All right, Craig. What tournament you win? What tournament you win?
I'm trying to answer. I was just in a DCS tournament. I went 2-1.
What's the DCS?
The flight sim tournament.
Man. Oh, you lucky I don't have a cool room right now. Man, the flight tournament, flight simulator. So wait, hold on. So you went from hold on, Greg. You went in from you calling a person. Hold on, Greg. So you calling a person calling in a B2 casual, but you actually flying. Hold on, but you actually flying a B2. That's hardcore.
No, I'm not B2. I'm not B2. No. You're gonna drive home from work and put on a headset.
Mute yourself. Take a minute, bro. Just take a minute, Fred. Take a minute.
No, that's casual as hell, man.
Craig, player, you know I got love for you, man, but you should.
Oh man, Craig, my man, I love you, Craig. You my brother. My man said if you call in a B2, you're casual, but if you gotta fly it.
Me too.
Hold up. I gotta talk about this. Let me talk about it. I got you just piqued my interest in something. Prefer Sleepy Lights. He says I'm out, not a next gen fan, but hope for the best. Shout out to my brother Next Gen, man. He has COVID. He's recovering, but shout out to my boy. Yeah. He tested positive, yeah. So, help, prayer for speedy recovery to my boy. So let me ask you this:
that stuff's nasty. I've seen it direct live, so I certainly know him and his family are doing good.
You just piqued my interest. You said you're in a tournament for Flight Simulator. How does that work? Like, what do you guys do? Like,
how much did you win? I need to know.
No. Before win, like, what is the tournament about? Like, all you guys do is take off and it's in the air.
No, we merge. Yeah, you merge. You try to shoot the other person down.
What do you mean shoot in a flight simulator? You can shoot.
Yeah.
What do you mean shoot? Flight simulator has jets.
Yes, I fly an F-16.
Wait a minute. Hold up. Flight simulator has F-16s and shit.
The DCS simulator does. Not that trash Microsoft got. No, that is a.
Oh, I'm thinking of Microsoft Flight Simulator.
No.
I'm thinking this dude's in a Boeing 747. He's talking about casual. This guy's flying JetBlue, and I'm thinking. And when you said that, I'm thinking, what the fuck tournament can you possibly have flying JetBlue?
Either way, Craig is on track because this motherfucker is not winning no tournaments on no fucking PlayStation. So PlayStation, bro, you is a casual by your own definition, man. Ain't nobody listen to that shit. Stop it.
I'm like, this dude's flying a 747. What the fuck is the like? Who lands the best? Like who takes off on time? Like what is the metric for a Microsoft Flight Simulator? Yo, you have me bugging. I'm like, but now he said DCS. Yo, I was like, well, so what's DCS? What is DCS?
It's just something you need to get into. I don't know what to say.
What's it called? Like, who makes it? What does DCS stand for?
Eagle Dynamics makes it.
Who?
Eagle Dynamics.
Who the hell is Eagle Dynamics?
It's a PC company.
Man, you see, these are these PC weirdos with these exclusives nobody plays. And they want to act like PC. You see Optimus? Yo, Optimus warns us.
It's a worldwide phenomenon.
Look,
how come I never heard of it?
For dumb crap and shit. This dude, he just capping for nothing. I don't know what Craig on today.
What the hell is this? Who the hell is Eagle Dynamics?
Hey, somebody in the chat said Craig won a dub. He rich.
He won two. Yo, let me ask you this, Craig. How come I never seen them nominated for Game of the Year?
I didn't hear you. Cut out.
Hey, how come they never got nominated for Game of the Year?
Oh, that I don't know.
Because they suck.
How come you ain't never posted about your tournament winners?
Yeah, how come you don't put that on Twitter?
You tweet every day, sir.
So you can go to my page and I've got video of me flying and blasting people out of the sky.
Are you on your YouTube video?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta see this. I gotta see this. But anyway, for a minute I thought it was Microsoft Sim because I was like, how much excitement? Because that was really the only sim you talked about, like on the podcast.
Well, I think the Microsoft Sim does have the F-35. Maybe. I think it may have the F-35. But I've got the I can fly an F-22, an F-33, an Su-33, an Su-27. Those are Eastern Bloc planes. The Su-22 was designed to shoot down the F-22.
Greg, I want to tell you right now, you sound like a filthy casual with all this F-22, F-19.
You sound very casual.
It's very difficult to play. It's a hardcore players play Sims. Casuals call it.
Where are you getting these definitions
I don't know.
from?
And you know what? He's not even keeping the definition. First is money. Now it's Sims. Now it's headsets.
I'm in my second round.
Hey, do you play with a flight stick or mouse and keyboard?
Holders and with the keyboard.
Oh, you don't play with a flight stick?
No, I have a flight stick too. I have a Hodis.
So now, if you play with a flight stick, is that casual or is that hardcore? Because I really don't know your definition.
Well, my flight stick has 38 commands. That's pretty hardcore.
Okay, so it's all about commands now. Because there's not a lot of commands on PlayStation. We can't do 38 commands on PlayStation.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they may have something. Elite Dangerous, it does have a bunch of commands. So
Greg, here's my challenge to you, Craig. Until you admit that you on bullshit, I don't want to hear you crying about RDX not admitting they on bullshit.
Oh, shit.
Hey, I said a word about that. I agreed with you. Hey, if your tech guy's on some nonsense, then your podcast is going to be on something too.
That's not what I said, but okay. If your tech guy is on trash, then your tech information going to be trash.
So that explains everything to me.
Yo, hit the like button. If you ain't enjoying this entertainment, I don't know what entertainment you can enjoy. Hit that like button. All right, so before we leave, I'll start with Athens. Is there any topic you want to get out of your chest from Twitter that we could talk about live? We got 280 people right now. They're listening.
Yeah, it is.
Go ahead.
It is.
Let them know.
I'm glad you said that. So here's the thing, and I'm like very serious too. So we touched on it with like the Xbox fans on Twitter like capping for this bullshit.
Okay.
Look, man, the entire gaming community is coming together to tell CD Projekt Red we don't like the shit that y'all doing. We do not want this shit in our industry.
Not entire.
PC niggas is on it. Yeah. Nintendo niggas ain't even got nothing to do with it.
But they on it. They on it.
Yeah, it's like the PlayStation community is definitely on it.
Shit, we're the head general. We're in front of the charge.
Right, man. Exactly. We leading the way, right? And then you got like, okay, lawmakers may be looking at it. We don't know, but it's on their radar.
Yeah.
But everybody is in unison. Yeah. This is not cool.
Yes.
And you got these one group of motherfuckers over here. But it's fun to me. Nobody want to hear that bullshit, man. This cannot go on. This cannot continue. We need to take a stand right fucking now. And we don't need fucking idiots in the background talking about you having fun, then posting gameplay with this shit looks trash. The shit you bragging about, my grandson can see is trash. Stop this, man. Help the cause. Don't fight against it because you want to win the argument against P-Dub. P-Rock and J-Dub. Y'all so focused on trying to defeat them on Twitter that you lose in sight of the bigger picture. Stop this bullshit.
Oh, shit. It's true, man, because I even told them, listen, in fact, let me say this. Let me go back on Twitter, right? So in that same tweet where I told about Cold Bullshit Mafia, someone replied with this. Where's it at? The guy replied in the same tweet agreeing with Colt, saying, my future prediction. In 2021, Xbox finally acquires Sega. PS fanboys. In late 2021, Xbox acquires Koei Tecmo and announces a reboot of Ninja Gaiden exclusively on Series X. PS fanboys. Right? So I replied, look at this wish list just to make Xbox look good. How about stop wishing and demand results? Results that gamers can actually play and not sit around and talk all day long, right? So I did that reply, right? This Colt character replies to me and says, how about you let him do what he wants? He doesn't have to do it just because you came to ratio him. I replied, who gives a shit about ratio? You want your brand to be a powerhouse? Ask and demand you get better instead of making up wish lists all day. And these dudes think I'm typing for ratio. No one gives a fuck about ratio. That doesn't result in a quality product. I'm telling these dudes, stop sending that wish list he did is not gonna happen. You're not gonna get Xbox is not gonna be interested in buying Koei Tecmo and bringing back Ninja Gaiden. They don't care about that. Stop making these wish lists. Be real. Look at what Xbox is doing. Tell them this is what you want. And demand that you get the games. And demand that you get the games to play. Enough of these exaggerated wish lists. I mean, Microsoft bought enough, more than enough developers. They have more than enough. Right? And they have developers that's been around for a little while. And they have released nothing. Demand to get the content in your hands. Enough of these wish lists. These guys are going to be wishing they buy everybody for the next 10 years. And they still not playing anything. And that's exactly an Optimus hit it on the nose. They're just making up talking all day. It's crazy.
That ain't what I said. I said they so thirsty to win the argument against you, sir, and J-Dub that they done lost sight of the bigger picture. Y'all just doing too much damage on Twitter, man.
I want to bring up the fact that there's a game called Cyberpunk that's broke. Wow. And these people bought it.
Hey, Rock, you fading out, man. I can tell you trying to say something, but you ain't coming through.
Oh, it's messing up?
Okay, you good.
No, good. Yeah. So yeah, that's just the insanity, all right? So Craig, before we dip out, you got anything to get off your chest? And three things. It cannot be Mass Effect related. It cannot be 52CU related, and it cannot be RDNA 1 related or RDX related. No RDNA, no RDX, no 52CUs, no Mass Effect.
That's four things.
Well, define.
But well, yeah, I wanted to ask Cole about the 12T flaws.
Oh my God. So, what do you expect to? I can't with this dude.
Well, the game. I want to ask the game. The ultimate game Control. What kind of ray tracing do you think Remedy is going to possibly give us on that? Because you were talking about how the tools you thought were getting a little bit better for ray tracing and things like that. So, what exactly do you think? Because I'm gonna buy the Control. The new one that's coming out, the Ultimate Edition.
Right.
And by the way, I'm gonna say this: I beat Control. It's a good game. Remedy finally.
Is it?
Yeah, it's much better. And I wasn't a big fan since Max Payne 2. I didn't like the post products Remedy. I really don't like Alan Wake, and I thought Quantum Break was bare bones. I thought they could have done better. But funny enough, a lot of the things I had issues with Quantum Break, they addressed it in Control. They really did a good job with Control. So I'm going to say that.
I bought it for a couple of weeks ago. It was on that sale that they was having. So I got that Ultimate Edition for like a dub or something. I don't remember what.
It's as if they listened to me. Control was pretty much the issues I had with Quantum Break. And they actually did in Control. I'm like, holy shit, they must be following me. Because there's just no way. Because I'm like, God damn, they really addressed a lot of shit that I had issues with Quantum Break.
Hey, Rock, if you play Quantum Break, will Control feel like a sequel, or is it a completely different thing?
I can see, so I can see that they took, that's why I say if it's just too coincidental, but I can see they took Quantum Break and they really fleshed it out the way it's supposed to be. You know, they did a better job. They did a better job, right? So a lot of the things I had issue with Quantum Break, because I had a lot of issue with Quantum Break, they really resolved it in Control. Control is the much better game. And you'll see. If you play Quantum Break?
Me? I have, yeah.
And after this, so when you play Control, you're going to see they elevated what Quantum Break was. You're going to see when you play. You're going to be like, this is what the game they were supposed to make in the first place. And you'll see what I'm talking about.
Okay.
It's really good. It's really good. It's really good.
Yeah. I like Quantum Break. It was a little disconjointed. I thought there was something there where they could have done like a Quantum Break 2, but I guess they kind of did a spiritual successor with Control, which I agree, it's a good game, but I didn't know what code you thought we could expect, because they're talking about it's going to have two different modes on it. So do you think the ray tracing will get better? What do you think as far as do you think we'll continue to see things get better? Do you think it'll stagnate? How do you see it?
It's going to give us exactly what Rock said. Like, just by being a gamer for all these years, you can see on your own that shit just going to get better and better as time goes on. What I do think is significant, though, is PlayStation has been out barely a month, and they've already graduated to 60 frames with ray tracing. And like, it's still like the begin. This isn't even the beginning of the generation. This is like the dawn of the beginning of the generation, and they already get great results.
We're just 1 month in, just 1 month.
Yeah, and absolutely.
In a COVID environment.
Fast.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's definitely going to get better, Craig.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You know.
That was my question.
To what degree is gonna? I would say, and Optimus can answer this better question. To what degree of ray tracing? I think that's developer specific. Like, for example, because Insomniac did a great job with their ray tracing. Would Remedy do the same? Maybe not. Right. So I would caution everybody trying to hold every developer to the same standard. Was that a fair assessment, Optimus?
Agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, well, Insomniac's a first party, so I expect them to do more regardless.
That is a fair. And I think, and Optimus hit this many times. The first party platform provider, if they only have to focus on that one console, they have a huge advantage because everything their effort is towards that one dev kit and stuff like that, as compared to another developer that has to juggle multiple things. And Optimus, could you retouch on that? Because I know you said it before, but maybe we have a new audience, maybe new people join the podcast, just to give them a quick...
Absolutely. More than happy to.
Yeah.
So when you have multiple pieces of hardware, right, like, it takes time and effort to really squeeze all of the efficiency that you can out of that device. And so if me and you, Rock, if we are making the game for a system and we only have to squeeze all of the juice we can out of that system, it's going to be difficult work, but we can do it because it's manageable. Yeah. And then that work will pay off on the next game we make and so on and so forth, because all of our tools are being made to handle that one system. If you now tell me, well, hey, make that same magic over here, like, okay, well, I can, but shit, the way we did the pipeline over here is different over here, or because we took advantage of this, so we don't have that here, but we do have this other thing, so let me rewrite this and change this around. And so we do all of that, and so it's finally good, and we get that going. And so it's not quite as good as the first one, but it's getting there. So we happy. And now they be like, okay, well, hey, here's this other device. Now do it here too. Like, goddamn. So eventually it's going to require so much customization for each piece. What you end up with is the people that can focus on like one or two devices, they will get the very best out of those devices.
Okay.
The people that have to focus on multiple, like multi-plat, they just try to get it where the game looks good on each, but they're not trying to go all in and squeeze everything out of this one and then go all in and squeeze everything
because they may not have the time.
Exactly, the resources,
or
exactly,
the money,
the time, the manpower, exactly.
And also, so they may not have. And I may ask you this: they may not have the. I don't want to say talent, but is it safe to say they may not have? They may not have the skill, or talent, the skill, or proficiency, because the one tool set, like they might say. We do a better job with PlayStation because we're really used to how they set things up as compared to Microsoft, or vice versa. Absolutely. They may like DX and they're really great at DX, while PlayStation they may not be as good as they're good enough, but not as good as what they can do with a DX environment.
Exactly.
Okay.
That is 100% correct. Yeah. And so what's going to happen? The publishers, they're going to look at it and they're going to be like, okay, we got talented people on our team. We could actually let them, and we can invest in them getting better on PlayStation, and we can invest in them getting better on Xbox.
Or hire
at the
people.
end of the day, why would they?
Yeah,
Right,
or hire
like-
people, right? Because I seen that third party do hirings, and they specifically say must be familiar with PlayStation this, that, and a third, which tells me they're looking for a PlayStation centric developer, and probably to augment that gap.
And so, but here's the thing: none of that is free. So at the end of the day, they make just as much money. Using Ubisoft as an example, if Watch Dogs Legion is about the same on each, we get the same amount of money as if it was really customized for PlayStation or really customized for Xbox.
So it's the juice.
For video. So there reaches a point where it's diminishing returns.
At a certain point, the juice is not worth the squeeze. Let me read off the super chat, because this one specifically for you, Code, is a question. Vicious Lord 66 asks, Code, what's your opinion on Microsoft not pulling Cyberpunk down on their platform? What is your view that Microsoft continues to sell Cyberpunk on their store?
Well, this ain't gonna be good. It is my opinion. I'm not no authority or none of that shit, but it is my opinion that, and I think most people know that I support Xbox and have been like for 20 years, right? And I get into it with the PlayStation crowd because like y'all not gonna get me to diss Game Pass. I don't care how much you try. I think Game Pass is fabulous. So I am a supporter of Xbox, and I have been for 20 years. But I am very disappointed in this decision, and I am losing trust in the brand because at the end of the day, I know what happened, and I know things behind the scenes that aren't public yet. And at the end of the day, these motherfuckers have a game that they are selling on their platform that they know has not passed certification. And all they're doing is offering a refund. Well, here, we'll take your money for 5-10 days, gain interest on it, and then we'll give you back the amount that you paid. But yeah, we know the game on our system is broke. We know it's fucked up. But maybe you won't run into none of the bugs. And so we'll put this little wall of text up that ain't nobody gonna read. And I think it's not a good look for Xbox. I think it is a poor job of taking care of the trust of their consumers. That little yellow blurb that they put up there ain't doing shit. They need to take the game down. Number one, on principle. Number two, because they know that the game has not passed certification. But there's this. Now, I don't know this other shit. It just, in my mind, like where there's smoke, there's fire. So this next thing that I'm about to say could be completely wrong. I don't know it. It just makes sense to me. But I've seen a special Cyberpunk edition Xbox One X. I've seen a special Cyberpunk edition controller. I see a Cyberpunk marketing deal. And like my guy Stephen A. Johnson said on Twitter, like it or not, Xbox is handcuffed to this dead whore. And so at the end of the day, and he a staunch Xbox supporter too, but he just keeping it real, right? It's like, man, there's politics involved. So I personally don't like it. I don't think it's fair. I can understand why they do it, but I don't care why they do it. The game has not passed certification.
Well, there you go, Vicious Lord. You know, and that's just more on why I just don't simply trust the brand. At that point, I'm very reluctant. It's just what it is. It is what it is. I just don't see it.
Yeah, and I agree that people got to understand that what happened was there was a group of people who were ginning CD Projekt Red up to be an independent studio, the equivalent of a Naughty Dog or a Guerrilla, and they're not. Look, I love The Witcher 3. I like The Witcher TV show. I mean, who doesn't like The Witcher 3 that plays RPGs? But overall, The Witcher 1 and 2 games were just okay. Witcher 3 there was a grand slam. But overall, they're a B tier studio. They're not. It's not like they're terrible. They're not terrible. No, they're not terrible. But they're not Naughty Dog. They're not Guerrilla. You know. So and I ask yourselves this, and this is a rhetorical question for the chat. where would you put if Sony were to buy CD Projekt Red? Where would you rank them among Sony studios? Because I would have them fourth. I would have them barely in front of Ben.
All right, Craig, let me jump in there real quick. So here's the thing, talent-wise, skill-wise, let me make sure I'm saying this properly. Skill for skill, I think the developers at CD Projekt Red will dog-mouth the developers at Naughty Dog. Really? Naughty Dog makes very specific games that are not asked to do near as much as the games that CD Projekt Red builds the same thing on the closed platform. So that's the wrong question. That's not even a question to ask. Here's the question. The strength of Sony and their dev team is their personalities. Neil Druckmann, Corey. So here's the thing. Developers come and go, but as long as Neil stays there, Naughty Dog is going to give you top-notch shit because he is a superior manager, director, and he is good at getting the most out of his talent.
And now he's co-president. That is huge.
Exactly.
That is
the
huge.
goal. He is the key. I mean, there are other people too, and he will empower them to do their job. Yeah. The question you ask yourself is this: if you took every developer from CD Projekt Red and gave them to Neil Druckmann and said, "Make what you want to make with them," then look at the shit Naughty Dog could produce, because they can do way more. Well, that's not really fair either. The devs at Naughty Dog are not asked to do the things the devs at CD Projekt Red are asked to do. So it's really an unfair comparison. But I'm saying skill for skill, the games at CD Projekt Red, Witcher 3 specifically, let me just say that. Witcher 3 specifically required more skill dev-wise. But if you look at art direction, talent, managing the team, leadership, Naughty Dog is going to win that every time, or maybe Santa Monica. Like all the Sony studios have that high profile leadership where you can lose 50% of your employees at Naughty Dog and you still going to produce greatness. Why? Because of Neil. It is him that is keeping all of this shit together. And people downplay the importance of management, but when you look at the CD Projekt Red situation, you see everybody saying the management has failed us. It's the management. The devs were speaking out. The management did this. The management. Do not underestimate just how important Neil and Corey are, and people like them, they contemporaries in PlayStation. And that is one of the strengths of PlayStation, is they empower their directors and their managers. They give them what they need, and then they get out of the way. CD Projekt Red is the opposite. Management, stakeholders, setting deadlines. Like, it's a messed up situation. So my point is, I wouldn't call them a B team. I wouldn't necessarily say they better than Naughty Dog, but I am saying skill for skill, they're asked to do more than the developers at Naughty Dog.
And they're not given and not given the fair time to do it.
Well, they're on the B line. They're in Sony's ring.
Oh, man. He totally ignored you, Optimus. He completely just ignored you. You said all that. He's like, yeah, but they're still on the B line.
That's why I see Craig to be out right now looking for a Gavin.
Optimus Code is right as far as the type of games that they make. I specifically said they made an open world game. Optimus wasn't the one online comparing them, say that they were going to be an independent studio, the comparison of a Naughty Dog. I'm like, well, that's already an unfair comparison. But if they were to be acquired by Sony, I would put them behind Naughty Dog, behind Sucker Punch.
Well, who is them, Brad? You mean the actual people?
Them, CD Projekt Red. And I would put them
Oh, so let's do this a different way. CD Projekt Red comes to Sony exactly
I would put them
except for they don't have a manager. And
all right, I would put them
don't interrupt, Sam Sucker. Don't interrupt. So let's just say then that they in Sony staple, and Sony takes Neil Druckmann and puts him on the CDPR team, and you take the manager from CDPR and put them on the Naughty Dog team. You're saying that the Naughty Dog team with this new manager is going to outperform the CD PR team.
Oh, that I don't know. That I don't know. Well, no, that's no. I mean, that I don't know.
I can speak clearly.
I am speaking clearly. If that studio were to be acquired by Sony, as is right now, I would put them fourth. I would put them behind Naughty Dog, behind Sucker Punch, and I would put them behind.
Okay, well, you're talking about something different. I'm talking about just the actual dev.
Oh, well, that I don't. Yeah, that I no. I'm not saying that. I don't run a 3-letter dog shit podcast. Is going to go down that road. So
here you go.
I would just put them at below Naughty Dog, Sucker Punch, and Santa Monica. That's it. I would. You can argue it
as a.
I would. This is my opinion. People may say,
I mean, that's fair. That's cool. I get what you're saying. I thought you were saying that the skill at CDPR is a B tier, and I'm saying that's not fucking talent. They just don't have the direction that Sony has.
Which they very well could.
And if they were managed by Sony, all of this shit would be a different conversation.
Oh yeah,
I don't disagree with that. We'll never know, but I don't disagree with you.
Server error, another super chat. Appreciate it. He's server error asks, all MS marketed game or not even asked, but a statement. All MS marketed games have some sort of problems. Dirt 5, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Cyberpunk. So porting from PS5 is false. It is the other way around, like all false rumors. I don't think anybody, unless you're addressing somebody in the chat, I don't think anybody here was saying it ported from PS5.
Cole saying that. Cole was saying.
Oh, I remember that.
Xbox. Yeah,
like,
and that's not. That's another
thing. No
like,
more. I can't. I can't, man. There's always something, man. Like, god damn, just take the goddamn L. Just enough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I remember now because I remember what you're talking about now.
Watch Dogs is
that these are actually PS5 games. Like, oh my god.
But Watch Dogs was back. Doesn't Microsoft have that marketing deal? That wasn't a dumpster fire.
Let me ask you this. This is a good question. So you got a multi-plat game, right? That's on PC, Xbox, PlayStation. From what you see in the industry, how is handling all three jobs, done? Do they make like a PC version first, and that's the build, and then from that build they port it over to consoles, or is there like a base build and then that base build is spread between, like, how does it work, or how is it commonly worked, Optimus?
So here's so it depends, right? So, and it depends on who you're looking at. But if you look at the best who ever done it, who in my opinion is Rockstar.
Okay.
So what they do, right? They will say we're making consoles, and that's it.
Okay.
Then later you will get it on PC when we say, but we're not stretching ourselves thin. Nice. So in that case, and so like if you make it for Xbox and PlayStation at the same time, there is no such thing as a port, right?
Okay, yeah.
A port is when you make a game on one system and later you decide to bring it to another system that it wasn't originally designed for.
Okay. So right? Like PC, they get ports.
Yes, because like it wasn't designed for. Yes.
Okay.
So a port is, and the key word is design. Although it will be designed and built. If a game is designed and built on PC, that game later is ported to consoles. Because when they designed it and built it, they wasn't thinking about consoles or none of its limitations. And one of the first things you do is you see, okay, how much will it be able to retain its original form? How much will it have to compromise? What will they have to change? What will be different? Will they be able to do it? That's the main thing. Will it be able to look like this on whatever they porting it to? Whenever something gets ported to the Switch, same thing. Oh man, how's it going to turn out? What they going to have to leave out? Where the compromise is going to come from? A port always is when a game was designed and built for one platform without thinking about the other one.
Okay.
A multiplat is not ported. That's not what happens.
Okay.
A multiplat, like Ubisoft games, they are designed and built at the same time for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. So it's not like it's ported where they built it here and now they're going to port it there and then they port it there. It is designed and built simultaneously for all of them. So the design considerations already took into account the lowest common denominator. The design considerations already took into account the differences between the platforms, and the goal is to get parity between those platforms. So there is no such thing as a port when a multi-platform title is designed and built to release simultaneously. That's just not how it works.
No.
A port is only when it was already on, designed and built for one, and later you take it somewhere else.
All right, someone in the chat is challenging you. He says, "Dog, all games get a port. This guy don't know what he's talking about. Laugh out loud. There is only one version of a game."
Okay, well that's y'all new tech expert.
Nah, I ain't my tech expert. Hell nah. Hell, his name is Al. His name he's literally called Al.
Y'all listen to him and let me see how far y'all
Hell
get.
nah. I'm just asking. His name is Al. He's literally telling you. You know what I'm saying? So let me understand. Makes your sense. Okay. So when you have a multiplat, they are pretty much designing the game in consideration to all the platforms that's available. But from the design stage, they're going to look at the lowest common denominator. What is the lowest minimum spec bar? And then what they do is from there, you know, based on the minimum spec, they'll design the game on all platforms. And then I'm assuming, and you could correct me on this, based on each individual platform, there might be not a difference in game design, but something that might take advantage. Like, for example, if the PC version might have better ray tracing because it's capable of this hardware. Yes, they were designed to the lowest common denominator, but when it's time to actually develop and build it, remember those are two separate phases. The design phase and the build phase. Although, I mean, honestly speaking, the design happens all the way throughout, right? But it's exactly what you just said. They'll design it for the lowest common denominator. Then when it comes time to build it, they will build it on each platform to the highest. So design is lowest, build is highest. Okay.
So when they build it for PC, they're going to build it to take advantage of all the stuff, but they're not going to leave that original design.
All right.
Same thing with PlayStation and Xbox.
All right. So I see where L is confused. L, he's not saying that it's multiple versions. It's still one version. Right, but that one version is making considerations, right, from the start, how this version in this game is going to build, and then when they develop it, it's just taking advantage of each platform. Is that correct? Did I say it right? Or
that is correct. Yeah.
So it's
the game is on. For example, Horizon Zero Dawn was ported to PC
because it was built for PlayStation from the start. It was only considering
built for PlayStation. Yes. Whereas Watch Dogs Legion was not ported to any fucking thing. It was just simultaneously released on all platforms. There was no port.
All right, L. He's not saying it's a separate version. It's the same version, but the game is being built from the ground up in consideration for all three platforms at the same time. All right. So I pretty much see what you're saying out there. So pretty much a multiplat is a game that's been designed with all three or whatever the platform is designated, like Godfall, right? Godfall is a multiplat across PC and PlayStation 5, right? So it was designed it was designed for those two platforms, right?
Yes.
If it comes to Xbox later and they be like, you know what, we're gonna make it for Xbox, that is a port.
Yes.
Because the game was designed.
If they take it to Switch later, it would be a port.
That's a port. So, okay. All right. Makes sense. So, for example, The Witcher. Witcher was designed for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. That's a multiplat. And they considered all platforms. When they made it for Switch, that is a port job.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay. My man said, why was Batman built on PS4 then? There's always a lead platform. Is that true? That there's a lead platform when it comes to multiplats?
I don't know what that means. I've never heard that. Typically, a studio like a publisher, they will have a team working on each. I'm not sure what he means by the lead platform, so you have to clarify what he's talking about.
What do you mean by that, L? You're looking crazy here, L. I'm giving you time to shine because all I see is like you remind me of the L train in Brooklyn. That's the only reason why. That's the reason why I'm entertaining you right now because that symbol right there just you're making me homesick right now. So what do you mean by lead platform? What do you mean by that? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, does he mean?
I don't know.
I mean, possibly he means that that's the platform that's got like some kind of deal with it is the leading platform.
But that has nothing to do with development. That just has to deal with like more like marketing, getting custom consoles, commercials. If you do a tweet, you know, obviously, like for example, he said, I mean, PS4 took priority during development. That doesn't necessarily mean lead platform because it could because you could have. So let me put it this way. For example, let's say you have a game, right? And you have, you know, like you said, you'll have a team doing the PS4 version, the team doing the PC version, and the team doing the Xbox version, right? Could it be possible that each team has like one team is better than the other? Sure, they're all capable, but one team is better. It's like the main dudes. Is that possible, or how do you see that?
No.
Like let's see Rockstar, like Rocksteady, right? They make Batman for PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, and the PC version came out broken as fuck. The Arkham, if you remember that disaster, the console versions was fine, but the PC version was hurting for whatever reason. How would you say that is attributed to? Like, what you think? And I know you don't have to answer, just an opinion. What do you think? What do you think happened in that scenario where Arkham Knight came on all platforms, but the PC version was broken? It wasn't optimized. Even the most powerful hardware was having trouble just to even run the game at 1080p 60. It was really bad for the PC gamers.
I mean, it's going to be the same stuff we mentioned earlier, right? So if you have people that are predominant, it's the same thing that happened with Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon was almost perfect on PlayStation, but when they ported it to PC, they had all these problems because the expertise on PC and dealing with all those different configurations is very different and more time consuming and more demanding than building a game specifically for one console or just one set of devices, right? So if you can squeeze everything out of Xbox and then squeeze everything out of PlayStation, in the industry, that's called known hardware. The hardware is known. You know exactly what you're going to get. PC, the hardware is what's called unknown because you never know what configuration that the gamer is going to have. It's going to be a mixture of video cards, a mixture of drivers. RAM is going to be different. There is no known hardware on PC. So you have to deal with a bunch of different configurations. That stuff is just a matter of expertise. So you're building them. Xbox and PlayStation is going to be easier because the hardware is known. PC is more difficult. The stuff we already said earlier, and it takes a different level of skill. And until you have acquired expertise in that area or invested in hiring in that area, your people are just going to be better at what they best at. But it's not like your lead platform or it was more important. Like none of that stuff happens. Investors, stakeholders, they are businessmen and women. They don't think like what he's saying. Their goal is I'm investing X amount of money and I'm expecting a certain amount of sales here, here, and here, and I want them all to be high. There is no such thing as, well, this is my primary and then this one. And nobody ever has said that shit ever. That's not true.
Okay. So let me ask you this.
Think of the game as an investment. There are shareholders, and they don't care. The shareholders, they don't got no PlayStation or no Xbox. They're not fighting on Twitter. They want to squeeze money out of every one of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this.
True.
So you mentioned the design, right? So let's say like us, right? You're the lead guy. We're about to make a game for PlayStation. We'll just say next gen, PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC, right? And we're designing the game. Okay, cool. We got the design. Now, and I'm assuming the design is like, you know, the paper drawing, concept art, right? What else goes into design?
Is what your game will be, not how it will look or run.
Okay, so this is the game we want to do. Now we're gonna get into the build phase, which is actually the coding part, right?
Yep.
How does that work? Like, do we have one singular program we code for and then spread out, or does everybody just get to their platforms and start coding directly on their platform based on the instructions or what we know the game is to be? Like, how does that work?
Well, both of those will happen, right? Okay. So like right now with the Xbox, there's this thing called the GDK, and like this is what's causing part of the problems.
Okay.
So with Xbox right now, if you and I and Craig say J-Dub is gonna pay for it, and he hired us to build it.
Okay.
Hey.
So
Craig is like, you better use my 52 CUs.
I got no comment on that. So we would have to build for Xbox One S, Xbox One X, Series S, Series X,
Jesus.
Then all the NVIDIA cards, all the Intel cards, all of the AMD cards, processors. There's just like so many different combinations, right? At the end of the day, one of those is going to suffer because it's only the 3 of us or 100 of us, however many there is. But at the end of the day, there's a finite number.
Yeah.
So ideally, we want our code to run on each device, and we only want to write the code once.
Okay.
And so this is where interfaces come in and all of this stuff. But like, aside from going to that level of detail, just take a step back. What a lot of people do is they say, I'm going to use the Unreal Engine.
Oh, yes.
At that point, Tim Sweeney and all of them, they have done all the work to make sure that when you compile it, so here, compiling is the process of taking code that we write. A compiler is like a translator, Rock. Okay. Say, like, you speak Spanish, and I speak English, and say this is this girl I'm trying to holler at, but she only speaks Spanish, so I need you to tell her what I said, and then you tell me what she said.
Okay.
So you in the middle. A computer does not speak any English, any of the shit that we talk, none of that. Even in our programming languages, computers only speak what's known as binary, zeros and ones.
Yeah.
A compiler is, we write code as software engineers. The compiler takes the code that we write and it turns it into machine code that the computer can understand. Mm-hmm. And the better the compiler is at converting to machine code, the better the game will run.
Okay.
You have some people that specialize, like they much better programmers than I am, because they can write directly to the computer. And by that, I mean, they write in zeros and ones.
So when they write in code, they're literally using the language that PC.
Yeah, and they bypass the compiler altogether, and they just write directly to the metal. That's what that's called, going to the metal.
Wow.
Okay, so what will happen is the Unreal Engine will do all of that shit for you. Okay. And so you just write it once in your one setup in Unreal Engine, and then when you compile it, Unreal Engine will make sure that it compiles for PlayStation, it compiles for PC, and it compiles for Xbox to get the most out of those platforms. And you don't do anything but license that engine.
Okay.
And they do all of the hard shit for you. But of course, now you have to pay because those engines aren't free. Actually, they're very expensive.
Yeah, licensing fees.
Yeah, but it can be more cost effective than learning how to do all that shit yourself. It's difficult.
Now, so, let me ask you this, because now that you said that, could that be a reason why, like, every time I see Unreal Engine,
you filled it out, Rock. I can even hear you.
Oh, you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, because every time I see games using Unreal Engine, like, the character models, like, they all look alike. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's say if you look at Naughty Dog, right, and they use a different engine than Santa Monica. Kratos characters and all them guys, they look different than the Naughty Dog characters, you know what I'm saying? And then you look at Sucker Punch, their characters look different, you know, like the texturing, they just look different. But when I look at Unreal Engine games, they all look the same in a way. And I don't mean by hair color. I'm just talking about they just have this, like, it looks like the same base model, and then they just add hair or features or color or whatever. But it's the same base figure. You know what I'm talking about? Could that be a thing?
It depends. That shouldn't be a thing because your artists and that group of people, your modelers, are going to be responsible for that stuff. And like your motion capture and all your animators, they can work within any system. The engine does not prescribe to you what the animations should be or what things have to look like. So it's really going to be up to you how much you customize things. And generally, a third-party developer, a third-party AAA developer that's using Unreal Engine, they are definitely going to invest in making sure that they differentiate their products from other people that use the vendor. Okay. But that's not to say that what you're saying is not true.
The only reason
because people will try to mimic things. You know, they'll see something successful and then they'll try to do it and so on and so forth. And if the tools make it easy for you to get a certain outcome, a lot of people will use those same tools.
Yeah, because the reason I say that, sometimes when I see like, you know, like a trailer to a game or a new announced game and I look at it, every time I'd be like, that game's running on Unreal Engine. When I see the character, and then sure as shit, it's running on Unreal Engine. And I just look at it. I can tell an Unreal Engine game when I see it. When I'm like, yep, that's an Unreal Engine game. I could just see it right now because of character models. And then sure as shit, oh yeah, using the Unreal Engine. I'm like, yep, knew it. I don't know what it is, but it's like I can tell Unreal Engine characters out of the blue. I'm like, yep, that game's using Unreal Engine. I'm like,
so like the Unreal Engine 5, once they finish that, the game's going to get a lot better on each system just because of the work that they're doing on Unreal Engine 5.
I could just imagine.
But again, the devs have to take advantage of it, but they'll have the raw power. Well, I don't want to use power. Yeah. They'll have the tools at their disposal. It's just how they use them or not.
Well, PlayStation gave Tim Sweeney $250 million, so he better. All right, when that $250 million hit different, he got $250 million from PlayStation, so you know, got $250 million. Hey. You better deliver them 8K textures on these PlayStation. All right, fellas. All right, I know it's late for you guys in the East Coast. And it's it's time for me to make my steak on the grill. But hey, I just want to say, hey, to everybody in the chat, hit the like button on the way out. Let's do our parting shots. Optimus Code.
What up, man? I ain't got nothing for y'all, but check me out with Hard 8 tomorrow.
Yep.
Shit is going crazy over there, man.
What time again?
Sunday live podcast. It's at 4:00 Eastern.
4:00 Eastern time, any given Sunday, and you do live call-ins, don't you?
Yeah, live call-ins, call in, shoot your shots.
You had any crazy shit, like any crazy call-in?
Man, every week, bro.
I can already imagine.
Every week. You got to come through and check us out. I know the time is different for you, Rock, but
you know what my problem is? I lose track of time because I'm not used to being ahead of everybody or behind.
Yeah.
So like when it's early for me, they be like, oh, the podcast's over. And I'm like, it's only 2:00. And I'm thinking, oh, wait a minute, it's fucking 5 over there. I keep, like, sometimes I miss Giants game because it's like at 10 in the morning. I'm not used to football being at 10. Like, I haven't even went to church yet. I'm like, damn, I'm used to going to church. And then right after kickoff, you give God his hour. I'm like, man, I'm not used to this. Yo, it's crazy. All right. Hey, Craig.
Yeah.
You going to say goodbye?
Yeah, check us out. Good night, everybody. Shout out to everybody that came through. Shout out to the chat. Check me and Lincoln Clay out on Monday. We're gonna start up live in Wakanda again here at the end of the year. So
nice. What time on Monday?
Gonna still waiting to hear from him. We're just gonna be hyping it up tomorrow. We're gonna be putting feelers out. So, but he's off. I think for a couple days. I'm off, so it's a good time to kind of start it up and reconnect with the audience, and may give away some movie codes on there. And I'm gonna have a movie code giveaway on Monday to my members. So stay tuned for that.
All right. Okay. Cool, man. Appreciate it, man. Thank you two gentlemen for showing up on the spot. Really glad you guys really brought amazing opinions. Craig, I don't know what you brought today with that flight shit. You brought something. I mean, man, I don't know what the hell you brought, but you brought it, and the people love you for it, man. I love you for that. I love it, man.
I heard that, Craig.
I love it, Craig.
You
Craig,
know,
don't
like,
Craig, don't change, brother.
Yeah, look, there's a bunch of podcasts that run on Monday through Friday night that are lying their asses off. I ain't gonna have that over here.
That's what
All I know is Craig
talking
said
about.
if you ain't getting paid, you a filthy casual.
You a filthy casual. If you ain't got 38 commands on your controller, you a filthy casual. Yo, shout out. Man, God bless everybody. Hey, you guys stay safe. And if I don't see any of you guys anytime soon, I want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas and definitely a Happy New Year. Stay safe this holiday season and still be careful. I know the vaccine is coming, but until then, hold the line. Wear your mask. Hold the line. We're going to get back to it. All right? You guys take care. Stay blessed, man. Appreciate it. Thank you for rocking out. Hit the like button on your way out. Please.
Peace.
All right, let me shut it down.